All right, I think I'm in the building. KevRow University, of course, Channel 54, Coffee and Kush TV. Let's see. Evening discussions. Man. With all of the Candace Owens things going on in this world, it's hard to find real journalism at this time. Especially when we talking backing up the claims that we be asserting over here on KevRow at KevRow University. Uh, a lot of people didn't want to believe a lot of what we discuss over here because it's pretty much before it even comes out. But today, I want to talk about something very important. Shout out to the people in the chat room already. I was going to talk about something else, but this is very important because it deals with what's really happening. I know a lot of people talking about Epstein, Trump, and all of this good shit that's in media. But one thing I said, I think yesterday or the day before, was there's some financial situations going on that people need to be aware of and why they're distracting so much. I'm talking about Turning Point and Candace Owens and all of these little, MAGA, Ma- Turning Point MAGA parlor people. So I said to myself, let's get some media on that's going to describe exactly what's going on. And I think we may have found that. To the people who gave me this information, shout out to y'all. It's a blessing to be able to display this and be on YouTube in this matter. But I don't want to hold up too much more. I'm not going to be taking taking my time getting to the subject at hand. I am reposting this somewhere else. This is pretty much, where I do my recordings at. So God bless y'all who are here with us. But today we're gonna be talking about the audit of Turning Point and Charlie Kirk and all of these great things. So, if you into that type of stuff, bear with us. I'm glad you're here. And let's get to the point. This is a very good interview by who's this guy? Who's this brother right here? This young man. Didi got a podcast. So shout out to my boy Didi over at Didi got a podcast. He was able to get this interview with the Turning Point USA auditor, and it's not looking good. So let's take a listen. This is we ain't trolling on this one. This is very important. Let's take a listen to this podcast.
So what caught my attention? I thought it was only Turning Point USA because that's all we hear about.
Yep.
But as you start digging into the IRS files, you find out there's three more. That sums it up right there. That's why they do that. Not to help anyone, not to make the world a better place. It's that. It's strange to me when the establishment says someone is a threat and yet they're being promoted. So this is a wild story here. Superfeed. Okay. Tyler Boyer was involved in this. Weirdly, I found the developers were in the Ukraine. And then it just gets even more strange because if we go down to the next page, who's the director? Erica Kirk's mother, who was also, Turning Point gave almost $500,000 to them. For what reason? They're a publisher, right? They publish books. Oddly enough, Charlie Kirk's book was published by them. So this is the reverse of what happens, right? A publisher usually pays you in advance when you write a book. But instead, Charlie Kirk is paying them. And then same with Tyler Boyer. He would get maybe $300 on all four. So that really caught my attention as like, wow, this seems like a real shady way to make their salaries appear less egregious. You can give a guy the benefit of the doubt, and I think we should, but I think when numbers get this alarming, it becomes harder to give the benefit of the doubt,
This seems like pure corruption to me. And I'm just speaking for myself. In an ideal world, do you believe that this sort of activity could, in some scenarios, land some people in prison?
And the only thing I'll reiterate is I would just urge anyone that may think something's off with anything we're saying, go to irs.gov and we can provide what are called the EIN numbers. Every nonprofit has a unique number. Look for yourself. You shouldn't trust me.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Didi got a podcast.
Welcome back to Didi Got a Podcast, and of course, I'm your host, Didi. Listen, many of us have heard about the audit that has suspiciously disappeared at Turning Point USA. Well, I have officially interviewed a guy who's done a forensic audit, and you'll learn in this interview the difference between audits and why a forensic audit is completely different and it looks for criminal activity. And I'm just going to tell you now, this interview is about to blow your mind. All I ask is that you hit the like button. That would really help to push this video into the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. If you want access to uncensored and extended videos that you cannot find here on YouTube, a link to the Patreon can be found in the description. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, welcome back to Didi Got a Podcast, and I'm your host, Didi. And I am sitting here with my guest. And before I have my guest to introduce himself, let me just say about, I believe, 3 or 4 days ago, I interviewed this guy by the name of Brian, guy by the name of Brian Ferentz, who is actually an investigative reporter based out of Arizona. And he came onto the show after I saw that he was featured on the very popular YouTube channel called Redacted, where he shared some things about Charlie Kirk's audit and a memo that was sent out by Charlie Kirk shortly before everything happened in Utah, where Charlie Kirk allegedly, and I'm just going to say alleged to be responsible on my end, was a bit suspicious about the funds, where some of the money was coming from, where some of the money was going. And I had him on to the show. He shared some things. I got some backlash for it, but a lot of people have been talking about this, but I don't think enough people have.
How he don't know where the money going, y'all? How they don't know where the money going? Huh? How don't they know where the money is going? This is what happens when your wife and her homegirls, remember I called them Charlie's Angels? This is what happens when the wife hit the like button, is doing things. Those closest to you are doing things and have done things and kept you out the loop, or what was expensed and how it was expensed. And the closer you got to finding out, the more danger you got in, because people don't want you to find out what happened. A lot of people want to save face and pretend they're your friends, and boom, you find out people got alternative motives for your shit. For your shit, the shit that you built. Hit the like, or hey, well, he didn't really build that, but let's say my shit, people will do that shit. So you got to be very careful out here. People will try to get you for your own shit. And you like, wait a minute, ain't you blessed with some type of basketball skill or some type of Hit the like button, man. So when people start looking for these numbers and finding these discrepancies, it's not going to be good. Shout out to Didi Got a Podcast.
Been talking about this, but Candace Owens was one of the people to bring this up as far as, you know, anyone with her size of a platform. So with that, I'm going to just have my guest to introduce himself, as he has conducted his own audit of Turning Point USA, and then we're going to delve into the details.
Sure. So thanks for having me, Didi. I have about 20 years experience in finance, and that's on the corporate side. So financial planning, financial budgeting, forecasting, and auditing, which really led me to this point. You know, I've done these audits before, and so I just started digging into this data. Additionally, I have about 15 years experience as a programmer and software developer. So I really understand how these algorithms work, and I think that may come up a little later.
I think that's brilliant. This is the right guy for the job.
Okay, now before we get into anything, because Brian, you're going to have people to say this. They're going to say, is he a Democrat? And I hope you're going to be honest with us.
I'll be honest, sure.
Are you a Democrat? Are you political in any sense? Do you have a bone to pick when it comes to the Charlie Kirks, to the conservatives of the world? And to that, you will say what?
So if we pull up my name, I've never registered to vote. I've never voted. I don't believe in voting. So I'm not political. I'm not on any party. I don't support a candidate. I've never gone after a candidate, meaning I don't like say, hey, let me take down Biden or let me take down Trump. I'm a researcher as well in my spare time, which is kind of what this was. I go after things that catch my interest. So if something looks a little off, I start researching it. I start looking into it.
So why did Charlie Kirk look off to you?
So Charlie Kirk fit a pattern that I've seen, and I'm not sure if you or your audience have noticed this. It's strange to me when the establishment says someone is a threat and yet they're being promoted. Andrew Tate would fall in this category. I hear, hey, no one can listen to Andrew Tate, and he's getting millions of views.
He's everywhere.
What's that?
And he's everywhere.
And he's everywhere. Right. So, and again, I said earlier, I'm a programmer. I understand how these algorithms work. So if it were me and I was so scared of Charlie Kirk, that's one line of code. One line of code in the system, I can algorithmically suppress him, or I can algorithmically boost him. So I thought, well, that's weird. Why aren't they doing that? If no one's supposed to listen to him and he's so controversial, one line of code would take care of him. You don't even need to physically kill him. You can just, we run on algorithms. So that struck me as odd, you know, and during the Trump campaign during COVID, I really noticed Turning Point getting a major boost. YouTube started rolling out those shorts. He would get millions of views. And I thought, well, that's weird. It's not like he's saying anything provocative. He's saying, you know, transgenders shouldn't be 4 years old. I feel like that's a standard comment. I don't think that would warrant 1 million views. So that's what led me into, let me just see what's going on here. And I don't know if you want to stop me there or keep going, or.
To the regular Schmo Joe who would say, such as myself, despite the fact that I'm a content creator and I understand algorithms a little bit, to those that will say to you, Brian, before we even get into the details of the audit, well, what if they had huge donors, which they did, and they have a lot of budget? They have a lot of dollars behind them. So even if the quote unquote establishment or the powers that be is attempting to suppress them, they have the money to push themselves to overcome that. To that, you would say what?
You're right, but the last I checked, they don't run Google, right? Google controls the YouTube algorithm. Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, those guys control the Twitter algorithm. You know, there's coders and developers in there. So, I mean, you're right. Like the big lobbies and the big firms have financial power. I mean, I guess they could always send an email to Google and say, you know, something like, hey, make sure you keep our guy up. But then still, that shows he's artificial. That's not organic. You should, in my opinion, I'm not a content creator, but you should have the number of views that warrant your content. If your content is, it should be, you know, what's interesting about Charlie Kirk, he's a capitalist. This isn't capitalism. Capitalism is a free market where consumers decide, I click your video, I don't click your video. And that's not what's happening. It's not possible to get these tens of millions of views. Same with the Charlie Kirk show.
See? See? Not possible.
I started looking into quickly after he would upload 500,000 views. Like, even if you're well liked, people work, people are busy during the day. It just struck me as something is going on here. Something's going on. It doesn't feel
right. This shit is being pushed. Facts. Pushed heavily. So much so, everybody's waking up every day talking about Candace Owens marathon, talking about what other conspiracy, talking about, oh, she lied here, oh, she's making up stuff here. Whole time she dodging Macron, she trying to get out of that whole case. It's just gotten berserk, and it's because all of these people is scripted.
Or that's, you know, it just didn't feel organic to me.
Okay. Now with that, we're going to jump into the audit, but Brian, you had no idea I was going to do this. There's something I want to read to you. So earlier I told you guys that I interviewed a guy by the name of Brian Ferentz a few days ago, who's an investigative reporter who has been apparently looking into Turning Point USA for a number of years now, based out of Arizona, which is where Turning Point USA is headquartered. Well, let me read an email that I received immediately after my interview with him. It says, hey, Didi, if you really are interested in telling the truth, you should know it before you make accusations that can destroy people's jobs and dreams. Your recent guest, Brian, brought up rumors of potential wrongdoing at TPUSA in 2015. Did your guest verify any of the rumors were truthful? Was anyone connected to TPUSA fired or prosecuted for financial wrongdoing in 2015? That's what should be asked and determined before smearing Charlie's charity. Charlie Kirk had an independent audit done on TPUSA every year from 2018 to 2024. An annual audit was standard practice put in place by Charlie. An annual audit is very different from a quote-unquote Doge style audit, which is also known as a quote-unquote streamlining audit. See table at the end of this email to learn the difference, please. Inflation and rising costs in 2025 caused many services and materials to double in price, creating a need for Charlie to focus continually on finding more donors. Since Charlie didn't want to spend too much more time on fundraising, he looked forward.
Like, what do they have that doubled in price? Milk, eggs, what? What's the what is it that doubled?
Way to cut operating costs. That's why he wanted a streamlining audit done to cut down on costs of ineffective or inefficient methods and services. A streamlining audit's purpose is not to find criminal activity. A forensic audit will be done if Charlie Kirk suspected criminal use of TPUSA funds. Please get familiar with these terms and practices if you're planning to report on businesses, charities, and politics. I wish the best of luck to you in your career, and you can reach out to me anytime if you need an extra set of eyes or hands to do research involving political topics. Thanks.
That sounds like someone very scared.
Right. And please, if you need any help, get back with me. I'll help you do it. Man, get your nigga Silicon Valley looking ass on. Need your help. And thanks, bruh. I don't need your damn help.
A few things jump out to me. Number one, notice they harp on 2015. What about 2018? What I'm about to show you, 2019.
Yeah, what about 2018, 19, 21, 20?
Right, 2020. Like, it's kind of like moving the goalposts, because maybe there was nothing going on in 2015. So they focus on, well, hey, in 2015, everything's good here. Who's the auditors? So we have to first understand how these nonprofits work. A lot of the auditors are on the payroll. So
on the payroll, man, they're not saying see what's wrong. They saying, man, see where we can slide this here and there so we can get away with some shit. That's what we know in the world. Come on.
Are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? Are you really going to take down Turning Point when you're on the payroll? These are not independent audits.
Now, what's funny about that is that when I had Brian Ferentz on, he showed we showed within that live
Stapleton Group.
Tyler Boyer responded to some guys online and said that this is actually false because they've had independent auditors come in and that nothing suspicious was found.
Okay, so this video could be like 4 hours with what I've uncovered, and they couldn't find one of these things. Again, none of—
Wow, this guy's confident. I like his confidence. He said this video about to be 4 hours. Are you telling me they couldn't find none of these things I'm about to produce?
This is speculative, D, what we're about to go through.
Ooh.
I just want to make clear, everything is linked to government websites. Ooh. This is not like the Alex Jones InfoWars blog. This
isn't InfoWars. This isn't Candace Owens TV on YouTube. This isn't.
This is the IRS.gov, where you can pull up their 990s, which is the tax form, and state and federal websites to see who the LLC is registered to. Right? Because that's important to know. If Turning Point is giving $10 million to an LLC, who owns the LLC? And so these guys couldn't do that. How can I do that? It's just go on Google and look it up. I mean, you see this all the time with these sort of responses. They're very weak, that they leave out a lot of the details and they kind of puff up the chest, a lot of gaslighting to make it like, hey, we're the victim. You're a $100 million annual company. You're not the victim here.
And if you're making those numbers.
Yeah. Also, if you're making $100 million a year tax-free, remember they're tax exempt. We have every right to look into you. We donate to you. You're not an incorporation.
Wow. Tell them.
Right? You're not like a Google or some other company. You're a nonprofit. We should be like, every line should be scrutinized because we need to know where our donations are going.
And I'll tell you this, right before we jump into this, when I was looking this over, so you sent this to me yesterday and I was reading it over. I got up about maybe 5 o'clock this morning and started reading it over and my mouth dropped. I raised up in my bed and I was like, no, there's no way that this is true. And there's a couple of reasons, because if this is true, Brian, then one, either Candace Owens in particular hasn't really looked at any sort of honest independent audit, because it would implicate, in my opinion, I'm not a professional like you say you are. I'm just a Smojo looking, and I have common sense. And I'm saying, first and foremost, from what I've read through here, I printed it out and I went through all.
Wow. Didi, great shit, bro.
All of this. And what I'm telling you all watching this right now, it appears to me, maybe there are legal loopholes that I'm not familiar with, I'm not privy of. But from what I'm seeing, this would 100% implicate Charlie Kirk as being complicit. There's no way, because he's getting like, and we'll get into this,
Oh my goodness. So all this, you was a good, dude, and press one, and he was Jesus, and he's up there with heaven. Press one. This could be a whole fraud case. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm.
Six-figure salaries from multiple different avenues.
Correct.
And I'm like, what? Organizations and subsidiaries with no employees, crappy websites. But anyways, Brian, what would you say is the most efficient of how we should jump into this?
Before I
You
answer,
feel free to speak without looking at the paperwork or looking at it with if you have it physically yourself, and I can just do the editing after the fact and just show it on the screen for everybody to see.
yeah,
Or
that's
we can go
probably
about it a different way.
that's probably the best, right? Just because then there's the visual. I don't want to sidetrack, but you made a very important question about Candace Owens here and why this went the way she does. Let's not forget, Candace Owens has a nonprofit.
Blexit.
Right. So does she want to start drawing attention?
See? 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 Do she want to start drawing attention to Blexit? No. Why? Because Mr. Gillespie and the Kev Gills G14 Classified has already busted Blexit and Officer Tate. Hit the like button and subscribe. Told you. Do they want to do that? No. Blexit is under turning point. So Candace want to make up all the conspiracies. In fact, to hide the donors and all of this illegal activity, man, they have fake Charlie's death. Boy. They have fake it. Put all the heat on some Jews way over somewhere else. Arrest one. They will fake this shit out, this shit. To hide this. This is high crimes. This is tax evasion. This is everything. Candace fighting tooth and nail for what? Because this is everything. This is G14 Classified at its finest. And she was on Black Lives Matter. Yeah, feds on them too. But guess what, Candace? They on turning point. Blexit. So Candace doesn't want this discussed. None of those red pill people, personalities who acting like a bunch of college students in their 40 and 50 years old, running around the community like sluts and fucking idiots. Hit the like button and subscribe. I don't give a damn. The hell with them. Instead of taking this shit serious.
Into what we can uncover when we investigate
And yeah, I'm talking about Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens and all of these other troll tramps rolling around the community like a bunch of high school students at their age. This is embarrassing. They should have been did their research. And the man over at Red Pill is sucking the shit out of fucking Andrew Tate's uncircumcised penis. They can't even see the truth. So they're all in bed together, just like one big puffy P. Diddy fucking party. But this is the white version. Nobody wants to be going down as the community that was funded by Epstein, so we're laundering money. We all know now all of the honeypots come out of Prager University. We already know now the little talent agencies we brought up before, where Candace Owens and the rest of these little troll traps come from. We already know. I'm already on your ass, buddy. And this is going to be a long G14 Classified investigation. And again, to all my little investigators, little Columbos out there, make sure you hit that Cash App if you want to see more of these live streams.
Profits. There's a reason why this is bipartisan. Notice how Democrats never go.
How did I know? How did I know what they was doing? KevRow, G14 Classified. They call him the Black Columbo for a reason. Listen, before this dropped, shout out to DD Got Podcast. Kev Gills told you. Now, I'm not saying they heard me. I'm saying you did. My audience, you heard me, so it's nothing. It's nothing. I can say, wow, look at this. After all this time, here it is. And they have to be investigated. Who are Turning Points donors? Guess what? Kev already solved it. Hit the like button and subscribe. Charlie around this motherfucker watching us right now. He watching this shit right now. He was somewhere around here. Y'all didn't find it. Y'all didn't find that suspicious? Kanye ended up in front of that rabbi. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. G14 classified. I ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all didn't find that suspicious? He just ended in here. This is one big distraction. We gonna stay committed and look at all areas of activity. Meaning we investigating them all. We don't give a damn. We know they play different characters. We know that we've been through history with these motherfuckers. So these is the new punks. This time we will be ready for them, right? This time in history, we well prepared, right, Taj? So we should be able, we know what they're going to do. They're going to fake their death and pretend they over here when they really over there on some Scooby-Doo shit. So all we got to do is look at them and see. Press 1. We have to investigate all areas of activity. You know why? Because we shall leave no stone unturned, motherfucker. KevRow at night, G14 classified, huh? Nigga, you ain't no leaving nothing unturned. This white man, Brian, he's a digital analyst, financial person. He caught their ass. In real life, he caught them. Discrepancies everywhere. That's why I was telling Candace, it's only a matter of time, Candace. It's only a matter of time. And guess what? The fucking computer analyst got your ass. Press what? They've been faking photos, all of them together, all of their ass. I don't pick and choose which devil is the worst. Or they all fighting for the worst devil position any damn way. So they all worse. They as worse as Satan. Hit the like button. Justice will be served. They are obstructing justice. That's all that they're doing. And when black people start speaking like this, it's a problem. Listen, what they doing, Kev? They over there obstructing justice. That's all them niggas. That's all they ever do is obstruct. You say they believe in Jesus when they obstruct justice. Impossible. Blasphemy, if you ask me. Press 1. That was a bar, but
after Republican nonprofits and vice versa. Because once you open that up, then the public goes, whoa, I didn't know this. Most people have no idea about this.
no.
Most people have no idea you can go to irs.gov
No.
and download all the financials.
Told y'all. G14 classified. That's all we do. Whack 100 say he got the paperwork. Listen, stop playing. Brian know how to get to the paperwork.
That's all I did. No, probably 9 out of 10 people don't know that. So right there, they don't want that out there.
And you said that two things I want to say. The first thing is, from my understanding, from my emails,
Hey, pop dudes, they don't know how to walk on water. They drowning. They got holes in the ship, in the buoy, in the decks. Press 1, they're taking on water.
were saying that you've been doing this for a number of years and you've just been updating it.
Meaning turning point. This whole
turning
thing of looking into 9. Yeah. Yes, because I told you somewhere around the COVID election is when Kirk caught my attention. And that was when I started looking into it. And then I have to wait a year or two to get the next year's IRS
Yeah, so you got to wait.
file. You know what I mean?
So you want to see if there's sort of a pattern that's taking place.
Right. That's how we do it. We analyze patterns.
Right, exactly.
The second thing I'll say is, to be fair to Candace, and I'm not here to defend nor attack her. If she deserves whatever comes her way, it just comes with it. But let me ask you this: why do you think she would bring it up? Because she said herself, and she's the one that brought it to our attention, that he was suspicious about the funds. He had called for a Doge.
That was a great way to protect yourself by bringing it up first.
audit. And I also want to say, when I was reading this over, I didn't realize that Officer Tatum is one of the co-founders of Blexit with
Oh, not the police, man. Officer Tatum, bruh. Y'all just in trouble. Y'all asses is in trouble. That's why they fighting hard, ain't they? Officer Tatum stand up all night. Damn, nigga, go to bed. Everything anybody say, they acting like a bunch of kids. He on college campuses trying to fight and argue with 18 to 22-year-olds who actually paying for college. Fool, that's what they get. That's exactly what they get, because they all honeypots. Press 1 and they deserve to go to prison just for being honeypots. Did y'all know all the honeypots go to PragerU? That's why I didn't go to PragerU. I go to KevRow University. Oh, go to Prager. Y'all heard about PragerU? Man, that's where the uppity motherfuckers go. They do real crime. They criminals, bro. KevRow University, we study law, history, press 1. Compos mentors, they study how to do 501c3 crimes, how to hide funds from the government. These fools talking about they was gonna help black people go to Republican. That's why they deserve funding. Blexit. Then that Blexit turned out to be some UK shit. Then the UK shit end up being Turning Point UK shit. Right? And then Turning Point UK is funded by John Mappin, who's connected to Epstein type shit. Hit the like button and subscribe. Now, Candace come from the agency. What agency is that, Ali? Thank you. She come from the agency where all the little models come from, and all of them just happen to go to PragerU. The old boy who run the agency got caught trading bad things on the internet. Real bigly bad things, man. Real bigly bad things. He was selling those people profiles and feet pictures or some shit. And he's selling all type of shit. So he already a pornographer. Press 1, and he fit the description of the 75% who distribute and produce that type of content. Candace been around these type of people her whole life. That's why she defend them. Hit the like button and subscribe. Officer Tatum is just a piece of shit.
Candace Owens?
According to the IRS filing.
According to what
I can only go by that, right?
Right. I didn't know that.
That's right on the IRS. It's Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, and a woman named Rebecca Mercer.
Ooh, find her. Get on her ass right now. Rebecca. Wow. And I bet you they all Jews. And now it's the Jews. And Peter Thiel is a reptilian. No, they wasn't Jews and reptilians when they was hooking you up. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Who's fascinating if you look into this Mercer family.
Okay.
She's a very, her father was Robert Mercer.
What?
I believe they were behind like Breitbart and some of these other people.
Breitbart? Didn't we just bring up Breitbart? Hit the like button and subscribe. See, all 123 of y'all, it's your duty to sign up to KevRow G14 Classified Investigative Services. Hit the like button and subscribe. I told you, Breitbart. Told you. And who went to Breitbart? All right. I think we should be back on. I'm gonna wait till Taj give me the thumbs up. And we should be back on. Yeah, but that's crazy, bro. Breitbart, Farmer, Ali just posted something. Rebecca is what? Taj just posted Milo. So they all went to the executive PragerU is Israeli intelligence. Okay, I see some. Thank you, gentlemen out there, whoever Oregon is. Shout out to you. But yeah, damn. So it's starting to just look like it's deeper than just conspiracy theories. It's a reason why that's going on. Let's continue on.
Get that business to make hats that has our name of the nonprofit. And now I make hats that say Didi has a podcast. they would say, well, he did do a service. He did make the hats. So that's how they get around it. But what's funny is in the case of Charlie Kirk's insiders, they didn't even bother doing that. They didn't even bother faking making hats. They just created an LLC at their home address, has one employee, and then it gets all the money for services.
Wow. Wow.
And it's these absurd numbers.
Absurd numbers, which we'll get into. But I just wanted to make note of the William Montgomery thing because I think it's reasonable to think maybe that's where all this started. Montgomery shows Charlie Kirk and whoever else.
Remember I told you all about Montgomery? He put out he was investigating them first, remember? Remember the old man Montgomery? That boy Kev, boy.
The hats. So that's how they get around it. But what's funny is in the case of Charlie Kirk's insiders, they didn't even bother doing that. They didn't even bother faking making hats. They just created an LLC at their home address, has one employee, and then it gets all the money for services.
And it's these absurd numbers.
Absurd numbers, which we'll get into. But I just wanted to make note of the William Montgomery thing because I think it's reasonable to think maybe that's where all this started. Montgomery shows Charlie Kirk and whoever else there, how this works. And that would be why ever since then, his crew did that.
So because I read that in the audit, but if that's possible, then why would Charlie Kirk then order a Doge style audit if he already knows what's going on?
Okay, so now I'm going to have to speculate here, right? Because I'm not inside Turning Point. Number one, what I found most odd about that is the name he named to run that, Justin Strife. Justin Strife himself is involved in this. So,
oh my goodness. Wow. Good work, champion. Wow. So of course he will say that. So they just want to investigate themselves. And you know what? Since you guys see us investigating ourselves, we just get our friend over there to do it. Who's that? Us again. Come on, man. Turning Point, I told you guys, more than likely, this is just a hunch. You don't know, but you know. What you don't know, just know that I know. Press 1. I believe it is a laundering scheme for trafficking and drugs and trafficking. Press 1. And pimping and pandering. That's what sells in this shit. I think they was around that motherfucker Boyd Toy and Shawn Michaels coming up. I think they was walking up in there like Shawn Michaels and the females was walking up in there at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. Nigga, I ain't even lying to you. Candace put that makeup on, turned it from an ugly warthog beastly woman to a princess over in 10 minutes. Went right over there. I think they over there selling Gucci. Like Figueroa. Trying to fix them books. They might, you see the women out there on Figueroa, you like, what a shame. Same thing in the political world. That's all they doing. I don't see them. How are they making these numbers up? Why is Candace taking $1 million flights? If we was taking $1 million flights, you'd be like, where are you going to Dubai again? You're like, come on, let's make it make sense. Stop falling in love with people and they out here selling coochie on the low. Stop falling in love with these fake ass characters. We don't seen this before with the Kevin Samuels situation. All those broads who was doing $500 and $600 sessions. Press 1. Yeah, okay, on relationship. Girl, if you don't get in Motel 6 where they leave the light on for you, $600. Ain't nobody paying you $600 to sit up here and talk to me about no red pill shit, girl. If you don't bend that ass in the circle, but what the fuck are you talking about? So y'all ain't fooling me. I'm from the street. I know. Just know that I know. But this don't smell right. Everybody else can put on makeup and be like, well, maybe they just had an off year. No, maybe they just selling coochie. I don't play with this shit. No, we not hiding no more. I'm not showing prostitutes and thug niggas no love. Fuck all that. Nigga's a murderer, he's a murderer. Go to prison, nigga. You out here selling your body and trying to be like, oh, a 501c, and y'all want to open up turning points all over and spew hate speech about black people and say we the most criminal, and y'all up here selling coochie and fucking being homosexual at the turning point facilities, kiss my motherfucker. I knew that's why Crowder left his wife. I knew it because they a bunch of fucking Celtic motherfucking Roman beasts. Press one full of beastly bear hair, Brokeback Mountain. Hit the like button. That's all Turning Point is. Bunch of lame Brokeback Mountain loving, self-loving men. And the women are drunk and they really liberals. They just be talking shit for views. Press one, they really hoes. Hit the like button, walking around smiling on stage, waving with their long legs and high heels, prancing around with splits rolling up, and got the nerve to talk about Taquisha. They got hair pieces and all that shit too. Bro, hit the like button and subscribe. And where y'all getting all this money from? Huh? Where y'all getting all this money from? Fuck out of here. The like button and subscribe. Urban Conservative.
Was he going to remove his own company? He has a company that gets money from Turning Point. It was called America. Let me get the exact name. American Philanthropic.
That's all they do is name their companies America this and America that to hide themselves. Put American pens they get from Amazon, made in China. Put it on in little Ross-made suits and ties and pretend they special. And you people get out here and start believing Charlie Kirk is somebody goddamn special. You don't know what the fuck Charlie is. They don't even know. They ain't even seen the kids. He don't even got a family. He can be a whole trans woman. Y'all don't know shit. Y'all just running your mouth. Go ahead.
2.5 million they received from Turning Point.
Look.
And it's even on his own LinkedIn.
Look.
So
doing what though? Or at least what do they have it listed as the service that they provide?
I don't know if I have that right in front of me, but we could pull that up because I have all their financials saved. But and a lot of their services are vague. You know, like I don't know. It's in the case of American,
a lot of their services are vague. They have to be vague because they don't want the government to know this is bad.
Philanthropic. It might be managing the fundraisers. Could be that. So why I found the Charlie Kirk email odd? It's just you're naming the guy who's involved in this. So again, back to biting the hand that feeds you. He's going to do a Doge style on himself. It's no different than Elon Musk. The biggest government contractor is Elon Musk. So when Doge
his
own contracts,
yeah.
How is this any different? You know, it's a strange email to be sending that on September 2nd, and then he allegedly dies on, I forgot the date, September 10th.
Yeah.
It just seems very odd for that to have happened that quick. I also don't see how Charlie Kirk didn't know because he was I mean, how did he get his 4 houses?
Right. Right.
He never thought to himself, this is weird.
Charlie Kirk had 4 houses?
I believe, if I'm wrong, maybe 3. But yeah, he had a nice beachfront in Florida, Arizona. Erica's living good, you know, very good. Yeah, and so does Tyler, lives very good as well. They all do. Stacey Sheridan lives very good.
Yeah, that never stopped them from sending out emails and asking for donations, and they've allegedly made almost $100 million since everything happened in Utah from, I believe, merchandise and donations alone.
You're right. Yeah. And that's my prediction. The next financial release, we'll see $100 million in revenue. Yeah. Look, Charlie Kirk's like Kurt Cobain, if you're old enough, right? The CD sales go up after he died, not down. And this is the new Kurt Cobain.
Wow. Hint, hint.
This is the new Martyr. This is the new, it's just Tupac, you know, another one. It's a very tried and true formula they use. They know we're emotional. They know how to reel us in after an event like this. And then you donate. You know, it's like the skinny dog on TV. You, oh man, I feel
it's how they got black. It's how Black Lives Matter got you to donate.
Bad for that dog. Let me give money to it's the same thing. They're going to break 100 million, no doubt. Plus more donors are coming in, not less. I also don't believe that less big donors. It's going to be the opposite. It's going to be more.
I also saw, and I learned from your audit, Benny Johnson. I didn't know that Benny Johnson co-founded a company called Arsenal Media Group and was.
That's your problem, Tate. That's your problem. They don't even put, he don't even be, your hand not around nobody. You just want to be in the picture. Nobody want to be your friend. They like white power. You ain't shit. Bro, what's that? I'm just playing with you, bro. You just try to. He just been just trying to fit in his whole life. Press what?
Was paid $613,000, $750,000 in 2020. But then he conveniently omitted this from his bio on Turning Point USA. But then he would later, just a year later, begin working directly for Turning Point USA, earning an annual
Look,
salary of $164,000.
this is why. So all of these, oh, it's true. They're Turning Point. Remember we was breaking down yesterday that the money was spread out between the, oh my goodness, we are truly rolling backward. The money was spread out between the social media people. Boom. That was with the crypto. That was with the crypto. Come on now.
What are the odds? I will say in his defense, and I don't know if he saved the tweet or not, he denied owning Arsenal. But I mean, if you go to the Wayback Machine, there's old.
So they may be doing all this, paying for all this shit with crypto to do their attacks using the using American government to undermine. Oh my goodness.
Tweets from his Twitter, talking about
this is ideological subversion at its finest. They're busted.
Work he's done with them.
Yes, dark money.
But there's like websites that have covered this. So I mean, best case for him, maybe he didn't own it and he was a partner, but no doubt he was deeply involved. So he's unable to get out of this.
Right.
But that's the swamp. That's how all these guys are connected. That's why
they was trying to blame Trump. They was like, Trump spent time with that woman, that victim. They didn't even know that I said Trump was an FBI informant. They didn't even know Trump was put there to listen, y'all. Listen, y'all. All the predators got behind Trump. This is the plan to take Trump down. The whole Epstein establishment, only way is to undermine Trump. That's it. So they trying everything that they can because not only drug dealers, but traffickers also are susceptible. And the Department of Justice is going brick by brick to tear organizations like Antifa and anybody else. I'm saying like Turning Point as well. Completely down. And I think this is a Department of Justice, a federal government versus a subversion of big money, human traffickers, cocaine pushers, and all that shit right now. And it's going down and it's looking a certain way to the public, but shit, you never know. I don't see good people in this. I only see the people that's pretty much ready to go to prison.
They always show up the next year. Same with Charlie Kirk, security guy, like all of that. They all happen to just get on the payroll with someone else, then show up the next year.
And I also see here in 2024, Turning Point Action, quote unquote, donated $2.04 million to the Turning Point PAC. Now, Brian, I'm gonna need you to explain to me what is Turning Point PAC? What is that?
We talked earlier about dark money. This would be the best example to use for dark money. So Turning Point USA legally can't be like sponsoring and helping elections. But
boom. Neither can they be what? They can't be legally sponsoring and what? That's what they were doing. And they did it in front of the whole world.
a super PAC can, right? So you take the money from Turning Point. Now legally you can say, I didn't help Trump. I didn't help Carrie Lake. I didn't help, fill in the blank politician. So they donate from Turning Point to the PAC. Then the PAC pumps all these guys with money.
And I'm almost willing to bet that it came from Turning Point Action in particular on purpose because it's a 501c4.
501c4, exactly. Right. Yep, you got it. And another reason why they do this with the PAC, remember how I said earlier, Charlie Kirk isn't going to pay himself $1.6 million a year because that draws too much attention. Same with
you see that?
donating.
You see that?
So this guy, Jake Hoffman, They don't want to show they've given him 10 million.
So they spread it out.
So you give 2 million through the PAC, you give 2 million here, you know what I mean? You give 2 million there, and it makes it a lot harder to find. That's why this took me time, because you got to go through all of these different organizations to figure out how much in total these guys have received. So that's why the PAC is very beneficial to them. Just back to dark money, hiding money. Also,
crypto,
inbound dark money. If some big guys give money to the PAC, sometimes we can see it, sometimes we don't.
That's why their donors were hitting.
So it just serves a lot of purposes. Let me see if anything else before we, maybe if you want, well, I can do like a minute just on the endowment, because I think that's interesting. So in 2018,
there's like 2 different endowments or something, or maybe 2 or 3.
2, yeah. Yeah. So again, it's really amazing what Turning Point does. So they have the endowment fund, which is specifically for, you could argue, like protecting your assets, right? So you take a bunch of cash, put it in whatever, a bond or a stock, and it sits there and it grows interest, except it grew up to 100 million between TPUS investments and the endowment. So now I got to ask myself, why does a nonprofit need 100 million? And
in bonds. All right. Yeah, right.
I don't know the answer, but I think we should get an answer. If Charlie Kirk wanted this Doge thing so bad, can someone find out why they need 100 million in investments? That's, and then on top of it, just to reiterate, why would he need a salary from the endowment company? He's not, man, like there's a precedent for this. Other nonprofits do this, but they'll pay the guy zero because they know how bad that looks.
Right.
So you'll see Charlie Kirk, CEO of endowment, and then it'll show 0 work hours, 0 pay. But in this case, that's not what they did. So it's just a really fair question to ask. Why did they need so much? And how did they grow it so fast?
Right. How do you grow it so fast? How? Just donations because people like you? Remember, the government been seeing millions and millions of these types of things. How did you do that so fast? And once they own you, they own you. They want to know. Because if it's done right, there should be an honest explanation to it. If the government said, Mr. Gillespie, how the hell did you go from food stamps to $5 YouTube? And you not even monetized, nigga. Then I have to explain myself. I have to break that down. Hit the like button. And it's not difficult. So you got to explain that, champ.
I mean, I think 3 years prior to the current year, it's 1.7 million.
It jumped like 50, 60, something like that.
Yeah, how? Is this Nancy Pelosi with like the greatest investments ever? I mean, how does that happen? This feels more like a financial, I hate to say Ponzi, but it really does than anything, because some of these numbers, they just don't add up.
It went from 20 million to 65 million.
Oh, who you think you is? Chelsea Clinton, nigga?
Right. On the endowment. Yep.
On the endowment.
Yeah.
And Turning Point Endowment nonprofit, which holds 38 million in securities, making their total 103 million.
And that's, again, I'm combining the endowment in TPUSA and that. So I don't know. That just feels very significant. 100 million to me is not a small number, and I think it's worth asking questions.
Right. Do you mind if I pull up the audit?
No, not at all.
Okay, let's pull it up. Yeah. So let's all right.
All right, y'all. This
specific
is good.
section you want me to jump to, or just kind of keep going?
No, yeah, just do your thing, and I'll just go to that section.
Okay. I feel like we really should hit the insiders, because actually, out of everything, I think that's the most egregious, the most problematic, and I think it's the hardest for Turning Point to honestly explain.
Okay, what page is it on?
I'm looking now to just try and get you there quick. I think it's around page 9. So the title is Turning Point Launders Millions to Insiders.
Got it.
Told you. Press 1. That's why they were scared of me, y'all. Why? 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 They said it was who y'all auditing me? What I told them. You doing what? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? No, you just a nigga with 116 people, and that ain't shit in the YouTube world. Because shut up, punk. You gonna audit me? You gonna do this to me? You don't know who you fucking with. Press one. Did I sound like Chris Tucker, Pop Dudes? You don't know who you fucking with. Man, I'm G14 classified. You don't audit me, nigga. I am the law. Bitch, we auditing you, him, them. They like, how the fuck? Who pissed him off? Everybody. That's who pissed me off. Everybody over there. Everybody over there, Todd. Because I see, once you know, you know. Wow. They ain't never seen a solar storm like that one. Hit them. Bam. How you know we launder it, man? Because I'm Batman, bitch. That's why. I was born like this. I was made to see evildoers. I'm a YouTube superhero, motherfucker. Hit the like button and subscribe. Busted their ass. I busted them years ago. And then I did it again months ago. And then I'm doing it again now. And now it's Didi turn. Didi getting them. This guy is up here. He got the financial breakdown of everything that I already said. Damn. It truly is tomorrow news today. And we already know. I'm going to say this. I learned this on James Bond movie. The one who controls propaganda is the one who rules the world. Let that sink in, nigga.
Are you able to see that on the screen?
Yep.
Perfect.
So like I said, I think this is probably the worst because there's just no reason to explain this. And I believe every case here, the LLC has no business. We can't find a website.
Nothing for them.
Like, what do they do?
What they do? Who the fuck you think you is? G14 classified? I'm the only one. Nobody can determine nothing. Press one. Who the fuck you think you are? TVA on you.
How many employees do they have?
How many you got? How many you got? Candace is the technician, video person. Who she thinks she is? Kev? Girl, get on.
Nothing. And then a lot of times
You too rich to be doing all that by yourself.
the create date is right before the date that they got started here. So it's not like a wild speculation to go, oh, that's what happened. They create the LLC. Turning Point pumps the business to that
Blexit.
That LLC, and they cash in. And if we
they cash in.
look at the first person here, Stacy Sheridan, she has 3 LLCs while also being a full-time Turning Point executive.
Wow.
And they get massive business.
And what?
You know, each some get, what was it, 5 million
for that business.
Her LLCs
look like this is worse than Black Lives Matter and Blue Act Blue. This is a low down dirty shame.
Received. But for what? And it's for only 3 years. So between 2020 and 2023, she's getting $5 million.
Facts, and I'm barely struggling to get somebody to hit my Cash App.
What did they do? Where are they now? Why don't they have business from other companies, right?
Fact.
If she's some genius that created some brilliant, business, you would think maybe other companies would jump in.
Right.
No, not that I can find.
No.
It's
and 5 million. You created such a thing. People be on that. Come on, let's work. Let's get to work. Seems like you got the Midas touch, boo boo. But no, hit and miss, hit and get out, hit and hurt. They pattern. Get it, get out.
just Turning Point, and it's for things that wouldn't require work, like processing these fundraiser payments.
Wow, not processing fundraiser payments. That's like receiving. That's like when y'all contribute, hit my Cash App, right? And then I look at it and say, wow, let me see who hit my Cash App. Marley, Deborah, Ali, Karen, Jason, Lewis, Brian King, Cedric Jefferson, Cynthia Rollins, or Jason Harris, Mrs. Payton. Shout out to y'all for becoming the sponsor of the program. At that, that'll be like, that's how you do that type of job. Now I'm about to process the payment, which means I'm a cash out. I'm gonna put that on my job title. Press one. Yeah, I process payments, nigga. Yeah, because I was right there. That's my job all day. Damn. Kev got a good job. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna tell people I'm a YouTuber. I'm gonna tell people I process payment. I run a process payment company. Hit the like button. Bocat, press 1. Thank you for that $5 contribution. Let me process that contribution right away, chap. Before the apps take it. Press 1 before the apps take it. I'm process payments. Yeah, for who, Kev? NASA and high-end companies. Press 1. High-end companies pay me to process payments. What type of shit is this, man? Damn. I told people I can help them with their resume. No, nigga, don't say you take nothing. Just say you process payments. Say it like this one. Hit the like button and subscribe. They busted in a mug. They busted. Y'all going to jail. We finna see y'all go to jail like Hillary Clinton. And y'all is on YouTube. Look, acting like we can't see y'all. Candace every day talking about, well, another conspiracy. You know, Charlie had 2 neighbors and they were connected to Pizzagate. I did my research. No more conspiracies, nothing. It's all gone. The juice is running out. Damn. And all we got left is money laundering schemes and auditors.
That's probably just something in a system. You know, she's not like sitting there manually doing anything. She's not, there's nothing to that. That to me is just easy
What
money.
you talking about? Processing payments is a job. Now that I know, I'm finna, nigga, you can do that on the road. Hit the like button and subscribe. Look at them hating. The process payment, give them that. Come on. That white lady got it smooth. You ask a white lady what they do, process payments. You like, wow. Wow, she got a degree. Damn, they be getting over. Damn, white folks criminals like this too. Usually people are criminals out of desperation. White conservative criminals are just ruthless, man.
For her, and I can
usually, hey, listen, you want TV. You usually just do things like this out of desperation. At least black people do. We have fun, but it's like out of desperation, you know. We don't do it no more after a while. We call that shit dumb after we get, go to jail a few times. I thought they was raised in the white community. They walk around with shoes that is expensive. Statistically, it seems like white people are criminals. They just cannot get themselves together. No matter how far they are up the ladder in status in this community, they are prone to do bad things. And it's not out of desperation. They rich and want to go and steal stuff. They're not happy. They can be happy. They don't care. It seems that they will just do it. Ever since I found out that 75% of bad videos made of children are by white men, my whole perspective has changed. I am now pro-justice. Hell no. Hit the like button and subscribe. And then out of these types of crimes, what is the statistics? They don't call them white-collar crime for nothing. Press 1. So they do these types of, oh my goodness.
I'll tell you this, and obviously I can't say who. People within Turning Point call her grifter in chief. This is known. Now, it's not known to the extent I uncovered, but this is known because you can't hide something like this. You know what I mean? Turning Point's not that big. Financially, it's big, but in terms of personnel, it's not that big. So, I think they just don't know whatever, like, connect the dots like this because, it takes time to hunt and peck through all these different filings. But if anything, she's like proud of this, because just the way she flaunts it. And then next, who is equally as bad, is this guy, Jake Hoffman. I can't find anything of value Jake Hoffman has added. And yet he's got two different LLCs. One is called 110, one is called Rally Forge, and they just get millions. Literally
That's all they do. They just get millions.
millions a year.
That's why Officer Tatum over there having a blast.
Total 9.8 million.
So in 2018, he was the communications director for Turning Point. So that's his official, or as of 2018, that was his official title.
Per their own
Then he got over 700,000 went to his company.
Correct. Which is an ad agency. I don't know what they would do.
You going to prison
to earn 721,000.
That's a lot of money, man.
This is how you pay guys off. I mean, Google wouldn't even charge.
Just how you pay guys off, boy.
You that, would they, for ads? Would they charge you 720,000 to advertise your YouTube channel?
No.
So how do you justify that? Right? How do you justify 700 a year?
And Google is the biggest. Oh my God.
Devil's advocate. What if someone said, "Well, you don't understand because you don't have a business of this scale. We have to pay major dollars in order to push our company out there to get us in those algorithms so that you can see Charlie Kirk everywhere debating."
Yeah, that's fair. So then I would expect to see Google, Twitter, Facebook.
Right. We should be seeing those.
I don't know. Like,
if we're talking a massive scale, we don't just bring in a communication director and them not use the biggest ones out there. And those biggest ones that you would call the biggest ones are not going. It's not going to be $721,000.
Maybe Fox News, not 110. Who's 110? Because I think that's very fair. Then I would expect a heavy hitter. If I started a company, that's the first place I would go. I wouldn't go to Jake Hoffman and hope my 720,000 gets me a return on my investment for ads. Can anyone say he brought back that value to Turning Point?
Right.
I've heard interviews with him. He sounds low intelligent, and this is not being mean. Sounds low intelligent. So I'm not.
No offense. And this is no shade. It's truly not, because I don't think either of us will say the same about Charlie, regardless of our differences that we may feel about him. Charlie was a bright person. I feel what you just said about Jake. I feel that way about a couple of people at TPUSA. A few people I've heard.
They're not bright.
Speak from there. I'm like, not the brightest.
Tyler
but their
Boyer.
Salaries don't reflect that.
It's actually the opposite. The higher the salary, the dumber they are.
Incredible. Well said, buddy.
Like Tyler Boyer, or I always forget how to say his name, but we'll just say he's the best example of that. He has these childlike meltdowns on Twitter, but never provides any evidence. Just provides emotional meltdown. That's a sign, to me at least, of low intelligence. Because if you come at me, I'm going to provide the evidence.
And disprove everything that you're saying. The same thing with Mikey McCoy right now. Mikey McCoy, I'm sure you've seen the questions and people telling him to provide his call log. Mikey McCoy is constantly tweeting about Charlie Kirk, pictures and videos of him. It completely getting destroyed in the comment section. People asking him, just provide your call log, man. We want to know who you called. Your behavior was weird that day. Nothing.
Yeah. Also, I have a piece coming out on Mikey McCoy, similar to what you have here. Very interesting.
Okay.
His father.
He's 22, 23 years old. There's something on him too?
Oh, yeah. Him, his father, his friend. And I won't say too much because it's coming out soon. I'll send it to you and we can redo this if you want. Okay. And a very shady private lender that it's wild. I mean, I'll send it to you. Hard to trust Mikey McCoy when you've uncovered some of the other stuff that I have as well. And I think he'll probably use a Tyler Bauer sort of explanation, just get very childlike and not provide any evidence. But yeah, this Jake Hoffman stuff, back to him, is really wild to get 9.8 million. We can be fair and play devil's advocate. Why not 100,000 for services, right? Why not 200,000? 9.8 million? And that's like acceptable when you don't have a website, you don't have a business plan. It should not be acceptable.
I was looking, if I was trying to add these numbers up. No, you're right. It's right there. 9.8 total. Oh my gosh. And this is over what? A 4-year period?
You have to put this into perspective. Like he said, their company, it's not that big. And I know y'all see a lot of people out there cheering and a lot of people out there working, and we watch this shit from TV. But a lot of they stuff that they're running could be done right from their website. And the website can be ran by very few people, if not one person. And that's what's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You get a bright individual or somebody with some natural intelligence on how to do these things because they're out here, whether on YouTube, on Google, or in your local communities. There are bright people. You know, we got to come out of these judgmental stages. There are some bright individuals that can add value to what you trying to do in life. So people better come out their little shells or whatever they in, because you know you got to speak to people to know what they good at. And a lot of people are living like they don't even know how important they are in life, let alone your business. Because I meet a bunch of people all the time that's like, bruh, you need to like come on over here, bruh. Bring that intelligence, bruh. So yeah, you get the right few people over there. You making millions of dollars. You can find the right few people, if not one or two, that's just committed to, look, this is how this run. This is how this run. They're all over Instagram anyway. Just saying, with that type of money that they are bringing in and dishing out, please. And they're not doing nothing but annoying people on college campuses.
6-year period.
Yeah, but the bulk of it is really like 3 to 4 years because, you know, some years it's a little lighter. You got to remember from COVID on, Turning Point was killing it in terms of revenue. So, of course, that's when they then helped out their guys, you know, even more because they had more money to give out. And even here, between just January and August of 2025, he already got 496,000 for what?
That makes no sense.
Or he's running Turning Point. Tyler Bauer's running Boyer. I got to get his name.
Boyer.
So I'm so sorry. Tyler Boyer. Maybe they're the ones running Turning Point. Because I don't know how you explain how much money those two, particularly, you know, Hoffman, are getting. It's really.
And these are coming in the forms of, because here's the thing, I'm also trying to play devil's advocate here. If people are looking at these numbers, is it possible that these numbers that we're seeing, Brian, are not take-home dollars? Maybe it's money that, sure, their business may have, but maybe they're not allowed to actually spend it as they so please.
Okay,
is that possible?
It could be possible, but here's why it's hard in this case. If he had 5 employees, I could say, well, yeah, his business got 490,000, but now he's got to pay, right, his employee 100K. If you have 1 employee and your business is registered to your home address, where could the money, like, how are you divvying out that money? Do you know what I mean? So you make a great point. And again, it would be possible. That's why I use the hat example. If we're making hats, that's not as egregious.
At least put the effort in to make it appear more believable.
Right, because I'm spending the money on material for the hats. I'm spending money on, you know, machines to make hats. I have employees. I give them benefits. Then it's like, all right, but this, it's just, maybe I'm missing something. It's hard to play devil's advocate when you have 1 employee. You know, I'm sorry. It just is like.
And even if you had 5 employees, 9.8 million, man. Wow.
Also, there's only so many hours in the day. I thought he's busy working for Turning Point. See, when you have a day job, shouldn't your day job, you work 40 hours, and yet you're so amazing, you can generate 9.8 million in your spare time. I need to learn how what he's doing in his, so then you and I can maybe start one of these great businesses. What secret sauce does he have? And again, the interviews tell me a different story. They come across, I don't know how else to say it, low information, low intelligent. They just don't seem like these sharp, efficient guys that are developing these systems, you know, that would warrant this. But, you know, we can go a little more. This Joshua Tyfault, same thing, right? Starts an LLC called Blue Mountain Strategies. And then, of course, it gets 129,000 here, 400,000 there. And then in total, 745,000. While on top of getting a massive annual salary, he's below Jake Hoffman. Yeah. So, you know, it's not enough that he's getting 441,000 as his base pay. He then has to create an LLC and get, you know, a couple 100,000 more.
Damn.
You would think the 441 pay would be enough.
And then it says here their website literally doesn't offer any information about the company.
Nope. Unless they changed it since I wrote this report. And outside of Turning Point, this is a very common thing you see with these money laundering things. They start websites just as a front.
Now you see that shit.
So they're not going to invest 10,000 in a nice website because the company's fake. You know what I mean? So it's just a front
Why
website.
create
Just
right?
on the
You
surface.
see what I
appear.
said? You can do this from a website. Why do that? It's fake. Well, because you must make a $300 million damn dollars. I think you want to press one.
Like, okay, we have a website.
Right.
And then with Justin Schreif, we talked about earlier, he's the executive partner, and yet he's going to run the Doge. About him, he's the only one that admits the company on his LinkedIn. All these other guys conveniently typically don't have it on their LinkedIns.
And not Turning Point itself, but you mean these other companies.
Yeah, so like
American Philanthropic is listed on
like he actually has that on his LinkedIn, but like Stacey Sheridan and these others, they leave it off. And that struck me as odd because if you're not doing anything wrong, show us Clover Mountain, whatever that's called, Clover Mountain Ventures, GSM, put it on your LinkedIn, right?
Right.
It's your business, put it on your Twitter, put it on your social media. Why do they leave that off? To me, you shouldn't leave it off, you know? So I give this guy credit. He doesn't hide it. It's right there on his LinkedIn. And then we get to the email. Like I said, he's in the email.
Right.
It's very strange that he's the one that was named. Justin Olson, not as egregious, but he's got a state job for Arizona State, conflict of interest because he's the commissioner. And then later we're going to find because he's the commissioner, he helped Superfeed Technologies get out of something they were caught up in.
Now, I believe this guy is possibly the one that Brian Ferentz mentioned he's had interactions with in Arizona. And because I remember asking him, how is this not a conflict of interest that you're working these two jobs that are sort of overlapping? And Brian was telling me, to his understanding, he didn't understand how it wasn't a conflict of interest either.
How can it not be? And we have proof they used it as a conflict of interest because his name is on the letterhead later when we look at Superfeed, where they received a letter basically saying you're going to get shut down, you can't operate because you didn't meet certain compliance, and then nothing happened to them. So you would think, oh, well, that's convenient when the Turning Point guy is running that. Maybe that, so it's a major conflict of interest. To me, I don't know how this could be allowed. Also, we got to remember, there's only so many hours in the week. How do all of these guys have families and kids and
boom? Hit the like button and subscribe. How they got families and kids? Why y'all think I say, Candace, where are your children at? What are you doing? You ain't never breastfeeding. Your kids just grow up and George just a house man. Nah, something ain't right here. Like he said, that's not enough hours in a week, nigga. The math ain't mathing.
And they have 10 different jobs. I know we're in a work from home environment, but this is like work from home on steroids. I mean, I don't get, And then the last one we talked about, William Montgomery, really interesting how, he did exactly what they do now. So then, so we talked about the fundraiser. I just want to recap because it's really mind boggling. If you were to look at other companies who process fundraiser payments, they're not 22 million, 30 million, like Turning Point was doing, which just struck me as then the only reason why they're doing that is to, again, funnel more money to the insiders.
Damn.
Because the insiders create the LLC that then processes these fundraiser payments. And I don't know what else would the reason be. On top of it then being dark money. Like I said earlier, someone can give $10 million at one of these events and give it to the intermediary, which would be the LLC. The LLC acts as the custodian, then they cut the check to Turning Point. So because it's done that way, we don't know who actually is the source of the check. Does that make sense?
Wow, so they use the LLC or the company. Damn.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So, and then more I just talked about, the different dark money sort of things they're using. Well, if you want to scroll down to page 14, it's going to be a little small. Yeah, I wanted to show, unfortunately, it's a little small for the video, but maybe we can fix it in post. This really is telling, right? This is it right here from their own filing. So what we're looking at is, this is the fundraiser name, and I'm looking at only the insiders. So anyone who was on Turning Point payroll at the time.
I don't fucking believe this.
I wanted to see how much they made. And this is wild. to me. It's absolutely crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
the near the end amount paid to fundraiser. So that's how much they made for just like processing these payments. And these are some big amounts.
What? So GSM Strategies,
Which is Stacy Sheridan.
Stacy shared. So is this 1 year? Are these different years?
Year. On the far right, I have the year. So 2018 would be the first. Yes.
Okay.
Broken down by year.
So Stacy Sheridan, by way of 2 different companies, made more than $6 million. More than $6 million was paid to her.
No. You want to look at amount paid to fundraiser.
Fund amount paid to fundraiser.
So that
okay.
one. So that's how much goes to them.
200,000.
And then I'm showing how much Turning Point, because there's a cut. She's taking a cut.
Makes sense.
But in some cases, why are the cuts massive? If you look a little bit down, Justin Strife, he's getting 36%. So it's all over the place. There's not even like a standard percentage. You would think, hey, Turning Point, we have a rate. Let's say 5%, right? Sure. Anyone who helps us manage these fundraising payments and all that, you get 5%. This to me just seems wild. Some are as low as 2%. Some are as high as 35%. How would you justify and come up with these percentages? Are they arbitrary?
Exactly. Because what I was wanting to say was, it seems to me the higher the number, maybe the lower the percentage, but that's actually not the case. It's all over the place. You have 9 million paid to Turning Point, and then 6% is paid out to them. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It made me think the insider is the one who decides, not Charlie Kirk and Turning Point.
And I know this is speculation, what would dictate them fluctuating between numbers? Like, how do you decide if you're going to do 36% and that's not going to raise a red flag as compared to maybe doing just 4%?
So I've thought about that a lot. And the only conclusion I could come to is another way to try and, even though they didn't do a good job, stay off the radar. So if you're only charging 2%, someone would just be like, oh, that doesn't look that bad. 2%, that seems fair. She's only getting 96,000. Someone would use the word only. So again, back to optically, it doesn't, to me, it's bad, but we're all about optics. And I know these people, because I'm in finance. I know exactly how these people think. I've been in meetings with them, not them specifically, but I'm saying in general, I know all these conversations, how they go. And that would be how that conversation would go, would be exactly that. Hey, if we just do 2%, we're just skimming. Remember how the mafia would skim?
Yep.
We're just skimming, just a little off the top for Stacy. No one's going to notice, but it's speculating, but I think that would be why. But on the flip side, someone could say, hey, she helped bring in $3.9 million. Why not charge more? You got Turning Point $3.9 million here, 5%, 8%, 10%. Why are you only asking for 2%?
Right.
So either way, it's a lose-lose for her, to me, meaning like, I don't know how she can explain it.
Right. There would still be questions regardless.
There's still, and it's
big questions. Because she's on here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they're all different numbers. This is bad.
All these guys, John McGovern, he didn't even try hiding it. His name is John McGovern, and he was at Turning Point. I forgot his position.
He didn't even try to hide it. He just John McGovern here. Yeah, like look. Oh my goodness.
Kind of director. And then he has his name right on here. I think it's the 4th to the bottom.
Yeah.
At least these guys create a company. He said, oh, I'm not even going to bother. Who cares? Just pay me. And sure enough, he gets, I believe, 26,000. So yeah, if we ask ourselves, is this legal? I'm actually not sure. But to me, legality aside, especially from a Christian perspective,
it's unethical.
It's totally unethical, immoral. And why don't the donors know about this? Because the way we need to think of this, imagine yourself giving $1. Don't you want to know how many cents of that dollar went aligned with the mission?
Yes. And not only that, it's clear to me, and I think it's been clear to many people since everything has occurred over the past couple of months, that the donors actually do care, as many donors have reportedly pulled their funds because of the things that have been taking place. They feel like certain questions have not been answered. And so clearly they care about getting clarity on things that are important regarding the organization. So I think that alone tells me that what we're discussing right now, they had no clue, or they have no clue.
They have no clue, yeah. And another reason how I know they have no clue, I don't know if you know this, but typically a nonprofit on their website, they release an annual report. Some call it like an impact report.
Yep.
Some call it like a company overview. And then in a separate section, they also release these 990s. Turning Point does neither. Someone doesn't believe me, go on their website. There is no impact report. There's no annual report. I couldn't find anything. And I think that's crazy because they're a $100 million company. I should see, hey, what are my objectives for 2025, right? These are my objectives. These are my milestones. These are KPIs, key performance indicators. In other words, how do we measure? If you donated $1, how do we measure that that dollar went right to the mission? We don't get any of that. So for these guys, remember earlier you said you got that email about the audit and all of that?
Yep.
I would have responded, where's the report? Forget an audit. You guys don't even provide an annual report. Nothing. What are you hiding? I don't. For all these guys that make 400,000, none of them can make a report. These directors, 440,000, can't sit down and make a report. That's crazy to me. I made this report, like it's not. So we should really hammer them on that too. Again, not illegal to not make a report, but very like, what are you hiding? I mean, companies far worse do it. The Gates Foundation provides the report, the Clinton Foundation, the Soros Group, like all these really bad nonprofits still provide that. And from what I can tell, Turning Point doesn't. What else? So we have their salary expenses. I mean, when Candace mentioned how Charlie couldn't figure out where all the cash goes, someone should have just sent him this. He doesn't even need an audit. Look, they burn through all the money like insanely. I mean, between conferences, events, and I get it, events are expensive, but when you're spending 21 million just on events, right there, out of your 80 million. So I don't feel like it's that hard to figure out where the cash goes. I don't know why he would have needed a Doge. You can, pretty quickly understand like, oh no, they're blowing money. 20 million on salaries. Like I said, 20 million, that's 40 million right there. So if they make 80 million, 40 million is just salaries and conferences.
And then another 7 million on advertisement and promotion. I don't know, man. 7 million sounds like a lot.
Well, not if you're giving it to your friends. So remember, Jake Hoffman does the app, not Google.
Has the ad
any receipts of them paying Google for advertising. They pay 110, whoever the heck that is. So yeah, I mean, this is just.
So let me ask you: do you believe that it's possible that obviously the unspoken implications here is that they're finding loopholes to fatten their pockets? But my question would be: so if they're pretending as if Jake Hoffman through 110 or whatever it is the company that's quote unquote taking care of the ad promo and things of that sort, who's actually doing it then? And how much is it actually costing them? And where is that showing up? Or maybe it's somewhere in this number, but it's not everything that they're saying that it is.
I think the only way we could get that is we'd have to audit Jake 110, not Turning Point, right? To see like, what are you doing for that money? Because other than that, this is another scam of the nonprofits. They don't get that transactional, that line. That's why it's a great thing for them. They can just put the amount and move on. So you can give a guy the benefit of the doubt, and I think we should. But I think when numbers get this alarming, it becomes harder to give the benefit of the doubt.
This seems like pure corruption to me. And I'm just speaking for myself. To me, as a small Joe, everything I say is alleged. This is just my opinion. This appears to be corruption to me. Whether it's illegal or not, if you're promoting and presenting yourself, positioning yourself as a Christian, as a believer, this is unethical at best and corruption at worst.
Yeah, I don't see how it's not corruption. I mean, just remember what we started with the Donald Trump Jr. section. Him and Sergio Gore have a publishing house and it's getting 700,000-800,000. That right there, that's corruption. Because for what? For what service? For what value toward the mission? Anytime I look at money,
damn, y'all, this is it, bro.
That a nonprofit spends, all I care about is, does it align with the mission?
Right.
And if it does, then I move on. And when it doesn't, and it's this much, it has to be corruption. I mean, because if everyone around you is getting rich, isn't that corrupt? Like, I don't know. That just seems a very easy way to understand if there's corruption. Right. If all my buddies and my family and everyone I'm connected to is all enriching themselves off of my nonprofit, like, is the world really a better place because of Turning Point? I think that's hard to quantify. That'd be hard to prove because we don't really see that. We just see everyone making more money, buying bigger houses, flying private.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, that's on somewhere in here. It spoke about how much was spent on like private planes or something.
In one of the years, 198,000 first class and charter. That's just on the jet. That's not even remember the hotel. Yeah.
And I just really want people. Let me zoom Zoom in.
Well, if you
Zoom
need
in.
the page, it's page 16 right at the bottom.
Okay, but
Highlight.
I want to make sure people understand this part. So 80, so basically $81 million at the. However, despite making 81 million, let me make sure I'm saying it correctly. Yes, in total 81 million in total expenses. They had at the end of 2023 only $4 million in cash and
Per their balance.
5.67 in savings.
And that's per their balance sheet. So again, everything in here is from their own IRS filing. You know, they have a balance sheet, they have an income statement, and that's just what it shows on the balance sheet. So it makes sense in the sense when Candace says, "Hey, Charlie's worried about blowing the money because they're left with 5 million, 3 million at the end of the year, so they do blow it." And yeah, here's the private jets, 198,000.
Man, oh boy, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't think
know
you're
that
ever
they
going to see
travel a lot, but that's 200 grand just on the jet.
just on the jet. How about all the security, the car services that are waiting for him? The hotels. I don't think he's staying at a Red Roof. So you start
Right.
to look, and it's just like, yeah, they're living the good life on the dime of the donor. Not like they're adding value. It's just simply on the dime of the donor. I think next we should cover the section right below this. I found this. It's hard to surprise me because I've been doing this so long, and this really took me back. Let's try and like kind of clearly explain what's going on here.
Okay.
Let me make sure I got the year right. In 2023, I found somewhere near the bottom that Charlie Kirk or Erica Kirk, rather, I'm not sure which one, but created an LLC called GGLF. Interestingly, if you know, one of the kids' names is Gigi.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Reported a loan to GGLF to fund a split dollar life insurance policy. The employee. What the fuck? No. Hell no. Hell no. Oh shit. I didn't even see that. Huh? Wait a minute.
The car services that are waiting for him, the hotels. I don't think he's staying at a Red Roof. So you start
Right.
to look, and it's just like, yeah, they're living the good life on the dime of the donor. Not like they're adding value. It's just simply on the dime of the donor. I think next we should cover the section right below this.
Turn employee pays life insurance policy on Kirk. What the fuck? And a life insurance policy. Wait a minute. Wait. They used, oh my goodness. Oh my, I need a break. I need a drink. Oh, hell no. No. Hold up. They put a life insurance policy on him. Damn. Damn, that's deep.
I found this. It's hard to surprise me because I've been doing this so long, and this really took me back. Let's try and like kind of clearly explain what's going on here.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Let me make sure I got the year right.
Split dollar life insurance policy. Alone.
In 2023, I found somewhere near the bottom that Charlie Kirk or Erica Kirk, rather, I'm not sure which one, but created an LLC called GGLF. Interestingly, if you know, one of the kids' names is Gigi. So I'm speculating.
Oh.
First, let me explain what this is, then I'll speculate as to what I think happened here. So this is not uncommon. You use these life policies in the event if the guy who's running the nonprofit is like the face of the company, right? Elon Musk is the face of Tesla, Charlie Kirk, the face of this. You can kind of protect yourself, I guess, financially. So you take this out. If something happens to him, you get a portion of it, a very small portion, by the way, and then Erica or the beneficiary gets the rest. Timing is odd because it's 2023. Remember, Charlie's been the face of this thing, I would say, at least since 2017. I know it started in 2012, but meaning like where he was on the map, everyone knew. 2017. That it took 6 years for them to think, oh, we should, get a policy. But so they did anyway. And it's a massive premium, $350,000 a year. It could be upwards of 10, 20 million. Erica's, again, I'm assuming Erica, the beneficiary, is going to get because of how high the premium is, right?
How much are premiums usually? I mean, I know I'm asking you that on the spot. Is it 100,000, 50,000?
I mean, I guess it depends on your net worth. Like someone like me, it's, way, way lower. Maybe 5,000 a year I was paying for mine. And this is 350. Again, Charlie Kirk is obviously a lot richer than me, but just to put into context,
wow,
I think mine was 4,000 or 5,000 a year.
Wow.
And I pay mine. I love what they did here. Turning Point pays it. So just,
and that's totally legal? Well, I guess it would be.
Oh, you know how it's legal?
Turning Point pays it.
Oh, key word, it's a loan. But I guarantee you, he would have never paid this back. They're loaning it.
So what do you mean he would have never paid it back? So why would you take it out if you wouldn't be able to pay it back?
I don't think anyone, I'm assuming, I don't think anyone would have ever, because he is Turning Point. So I don't think he would come after himself and say, hey, you got to pay this back.
It was fucking Erica. Wow, bruh. Whoa. It was fucking Erica, bro. How the moon, what I call it, the bride of Babylon. Damn. I can't believe this shit. It was Erica who did this. Oh, that made my stomach hurt. Oh, I don't feel good.
Okay, I see. This is legal?
But yeah, because if you look at the key word, it's called loan. So loan to or from interested
if he finds this out,
persons. So on paper, it's a loan. And, they're just loaning him the money. They're paying the premium for him. And then they get interest back in return if something happens, plus their principal. So in theory, they probably got the 350 back now that he died. But who knows what the beneficiary got? Because the 350 is such a large
amount. It could be in the tens of millions or something.
Yeah, because 350 is such a large. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you have to ask yourself, who did this? Did Charlie do this or did Erica do this? I don't know, because we'll never get to see the policy, but I would love to see the policy because to me, it feels like what we've seen now from Erica, she's connected enough. I don't think it's out of the question that she could have finagled something where she did this,
Now, just for the audience clarification, Brian, when you say she's connected enough, are you saying connected enough to Turning Point USA or connected enough to something else?
To something else.
I follow you.
To something else. So
based on her behavior.
Based on her family. Based on her family. And again, that's all documented. We can get into that if you'd like, later down the road. But that's why I say that, because it's just when you're that connected, I don't know if this would be that hard to do where Kirk wouldn't have known. What is it? Just take a stamp of his name, hit the stamp, sign it. The fact that it's Gigi, I thought just caught my attention. That's the daughter's name.
Right.
Gigi, allegedly. That's the name of this.
Right.
Maybe. But either way, even if she didn't do it and Charlie did it, this is very notable.
Yeah, but like you said, why wait now? Why go 6 years and in 2023, all of a sudden now you have the idea to create this split dollar life insurance policy?
It's possible they knew he was going to disappear. So if you know he's going to disappear, let's make some money off it. I don't know why else. I just don't know why you would wait. Again, I think it's reasonable to wait a few years. If they would have done this in 2020, that wouldn't have caught my attention because in 2020, he was really elevating his profile. 2019, but 2023, it just feels a bit late. So
yeah,
I would love to see the policy because that can answer a lot of questions. How much is the payout? Who's the beneficiary? When, like within 2023, when was this put together? But, unless we have an insider, I don't think we're ever going to see that. But to me, we should not overlook this is all I'm saying. Why exactly this happened, that's speculation, but it happened and it's here. And keep in mind, that's 350 in 23, 24, and 25.
Sheesh.
Right? Because he died in 25, so that probably would have already been paid. So someone's getting money off this. And I just think Charlie was rich enough. He should pay a life policy on his own. That's just my own feeling because I don't think Turning Point should be on the hook.
Yeah, there will be no reason for Turning Point. Oh my goodness. Honeypots out of PragerU, y'all. Damn, I don't even know what to say. My stomach hurt. My stomach naturally hurts. This is bad.
For everything he wants to do.
Right.
You know, it's not on.
Is that why Candace isn't going against Erica? Yeah. See, I had a show called what? Charlie's Angels. Candace flipped Charlie's Angels and say Charlie's Angels are Charlie's Demons. That's what she titled her shit. So, listen. Oh my goodness. Candace is the one that introduced Erica. Where do you think the life insurance policy talk probably came from? George Farmer, life insurance banker ass nigga. People who know me in real life know I went through something so similar to this. A banker put life insurance on me. Press 1. I'm trying to tell you. This is why I be so accurate, is because I've been through things in my life. Testimonials, that's real. You know what I'm saying? That's why I be calling this shit out, because if you don't call it out, it'll go unnoticed. You got to call it out. And it wouldn't make sense that Charlie would do that late in the game. Not saying that he won't, but a split dollar where the money gets ciphered off from over there to over there. That's unique. That's very unique. That's like, like you, a honeypot move. Like did something under my nose type of shit. And the only reason you would do shit like this is to do what? Facts. So you may be looking at honeypots who just assassinated and got a motherfucker hit. And they sitting up here blaming Israel. They let them say anything on this internet. Just a whole group of females. Damn.
Reasonable to ask him. You want to go to page 19? We can do that in a minute. It really jumps out to you. So one other thing I like to look at with these nonprofits, who are they donating money to? Because, okay, we see they did a lot of shady stuff, but maybe, and hopefully they're at least giving it to good organizations, right? Mm-hmm. Except that's not at all what's happening here. And what's really bad is when you look at the 400 million in revenue, only 0.7% has even been donated out to other organizations. And then it gets even worse because when you look at the organizations, they're not helping like people. Like this is Reince Priebus. He was the former, I forgot his position, but he was high up in the Trump administration. He's just your typical DC, swamp creature. He's not taking that 1.5 and helping you or I, or helping college students or anything like that. PragerU, we know about PragerU. That's where Charlie came from, a large Zionist organization. James O'Keefe started a new nonprofit. And a few months later, Turning Point cuts him a check for $400,000. That's, again, I think that there's no other way to look at it. Like, this is not going toward the mission statement. It just isn't. And so this should be scrutinized as well, in the sense of, why isn't my money going toward helping the cause?
Right.
I don't know how giving money to PragerU helps my cause. Like,
boom. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Now, combine what they saying with what I've been saying. Now, PragerU. Here we go. From Breitbart to PragerU. James O'Keefe as well. Yep. Yep. All these people being funded.
You know, rent spree, like this is more pay to play type stuff, right? You scratch my quid pro quo. I give money to Rents Priebus. I'm sure on the other end, Rents Priebus does something for Turning Point. That's what that would tell me. Same with PragerU. So really, when you extract all of this, there's almost no money going anywhere in terms.
PragerU, Shiva just posted is Israeli IDF. You know who else is IDF? Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. See? They don't started some shit.
In terms of like helping organizations.
Less than 1% of revenue went to outside organizations. It stayed in-house.
Stayed in-house. And again, not illegal because, you know, you don't like, but an auditor.
But super suspicious, man.
Super suspicious, but not illegal. Yeah. And especially just because of how altruistic on the surface they are.
Right.
So, but then how come the financials don't show that? They show something completely different. They don't show, you know, how much you are about helping the community and all these different things. It's just everyone getting rich around each other. Then we have a quick snapshot of the salaries. I know we talked about it, but if you wanted to pull it up, we can see.
Actually, and before we get here, I hadn't even made it to this part yet, so I have no clue what we're about to read.
So we got a few more bombshells that you'll see then. So here's just I went to their IRS filing and I just made a short spreadsheet, you know, showing their annual salary, and it shows exactly what I said, right? 4 different nonprofits, in some cases 3, some cases 4 in 1 year, getting a large salary. How they justify that salary is.
So for those that may have bad on or may be bad with the eyesight, let me help you out here. So in 2022, I'm seeing 3 different salaries for Tyler Boyer. One from Turning Point USA, one under Turning Point Action, and then one under America's Turning Point, which is probably the one that we've heard the least about before this interview. $240,000 respectively between the 3 of those. And then it increases. It was higher in 2021. And then for Charlie, as of 2023, it's showing 1 salary here, but in 2022 it was 2 separate salaries of $392,000 a piece. Now, what I find interesting is that in 2023 there was only 1. You have any speculation as to why that may be?
No, it's because last I looked, they didn't release 23.
Oh.
So Turning Point Action, if you notice, stops at 22. I mean, maybe as of this interview they have, but as of a few months ago when I did this, they just hadn't released 23 yet.
And to be clear, so this audit was completed? Like there was no updates since everything that's happened with Charlie? Or are you saying that you since added some things?
Yeah, I actually on September 10th, ironically, is right after that happened, I went and revisited this. So TPUSA had an additional filing, see the 23, that's how I got that. But on these other ones, it was still 2022.
Wow.
And that's also legal. I think it's some crazy lag period, like 18 months, or I forgot, but these guys get so much grace to file their tax forms. So I'm pretty sure they haven't broken any law.
I have to say this out loud. It's not even about pocket watching, but this is, I mean, it's public information. And as Brian stated, people donate to these organizations. So it's rightful for people to know what this.
These motherfuckers is laundering right in front of our faces. And they gonna use this shit to hide exactly what I've been saying the whole time. That's why they asses is busted.
Money is going. In 2000.
Playing around. They're not telling live on the TV. You gonna fuck around. Y'all gonna fuck around. Where's Francois? Wait a minute. Where's Francois? I'm going to make a t-shirt.
2019, Charlie Kirk had 4 different salaries. Turning Point Action, TPUSA, Turning Point Endowment, which is the in America's.
Yeah, I think Francois is dead. Yeah, he died. We're going to hold a funeral for our good friend Francois. I don't think he's alive anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. Yeah, he been missing too long. I think he dead. I think he dead. Press one. Yeah, I think he may have got hit by a bus. Something. Something stupid too. Playing around on Earth. I honestly, I don't think he's no longer with us. But God bless him. Hope he make it.
Turning point, which are the two and
And if you out there somewhere, Francois, check in because people, it ain't looking too good, bro. We ain't heard from you, bro. We miss you, bro. We miss you, bro.
endowments that we spoke about earlier. 284, 329, 329, and 329,000. What? That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, just this alone, what we can see here. Oh boy.
Why are they the same amounts?
Why are they the same amounts?
Because to my point, and I know I'm speculating, I assumed it's because, like I said, 1.6 million looks bad on paper. So just divide by 4. Because in theory, shouldn't they not be the same amounts? If I'm working for
See, you got no math.
Group A,
It
aren't
should
I
be
doing
different
work than Group B?
Yes. It should depend on your job description. It depends on your hours, worked, and yes. But it's all the same here, which says to me, as I'm sure it says to you, Brian, it's simple math. You just take that 1.6, you split it in 4 ways, and you let the bygones be bygones. Because what is IRS going to say to you? You're paying yourself. How can they prove that you didn't do said job? Right.
Right. I don't know any other explanation. I really don't. I try hard to give benefit of the doubt, but they're the ones that make it hard by doing this. Like we should have seen, for this group, 100,000 salary. For this group, 180. This group, 20 hours. This group, then it's like, all right, that's still bad, but at least they're trying. They're not even trying. Just look at this. They're not even, same with Tyler. Aren't his the same? Yeah, 240, 240, 240. Same exact thing.
2021, 255, 3 different ways. Oh my gosh. 2019, 128, 2 different ways. 2020, 260, both times. Oh my gosh, man. 2022 for Charlie Kirk, 392.
Oh my God. So they're all doing this. They're listen, Charlie was a bad guy.
2021, 395, 4 different ways in 2021. They're all 395, 747. It's the exact same salary for each one. It's the same thing in 2020, 407, 3 times.
Yeah. And we have to remember, he has a day job. It's not Turning Point, his radio show. Remember the Charlie Kirk show?
That's right. And that's not even Turning Point USA.
So that's why I keep harping on how are there this many hours? He allegedly has a wife, allegedly 2 kids, this job, 4 Turning Point jobs. He tweets all day. If you go back to his Twitter, every 10 minutes, there's, him cutting a video clip, him tweeting something. And I know he has a team, but again,
he's traveling and he's debating.
So how are you doing this? I can barely manage a job and doing this work on the side and coming on here to talk to you, right? Because you asked me, hey, can you come this time? And I'm trying to finagle. That seems normal because I have to sleep. I have to go to the gym. You have to do things. How is it possible? Or he's not doing anything.
We're expected to believe that this man had 4 different jobs that was paying him $400,000. And to those out there, because Brian, as you and I both know, we're going to have our devil's advocate and our staunch Charlie Kirk supporters to say, well, it was his company's. He's allowed to pay himself what he wants.
That's true. But then I'm allowed to judge what he decided to pay himself. I absolutely think he can pay himself what he wants. But like we said earlier, he can't have it both ways. He can't be the good Samaritan, the greatest guy ever. He just cares about everyone when the numbers don't show that. So he can pay himself $10 million if he wants, and then we can react to it. We can audit it. If the company wasn't a nonprofit, pay yourself $100 million. But this is money that my neighbor gave, your neighbor gave, right? Your grandma gave $10. This is people that a lot of people don't have a lot of money, but they love Turning Point. They love the clips. They love the things he said. I know people, they had him on like a recurring thing. You know what I mean? Where every month money would debit from their account and go to Turning Point. That's the person I feel for, because your money did not go to what you thought. It went to this stuff. So devil's advocate is great. It's just can't.
You telling me my money went to Turning Point? You bet. Press one. I'm pissed off. They were taking money out my motherfucking account. $25. Stealing from Kev. taking my MAGA donation. I think I got emails right now. Thanks, girl. You telling me that's Turning Point hustling me? I'm part of a lawsuit. I didn't know that was y'all crooked asses lying. Using my money for Charlie. Press one. That's some cold shit. I'm supposed to be supporting Trump. I'm over here supporting George Farmer. But one. Forget the Epstein list. I'm on the damn list of supporting Turning Point. They mismanaged the funds. They always asking me if I want a hat or something. Hell, I don't want no damn hat.
Have it both ways. Is he the good guy then if he decided to give himself 1.6 million? You know,
it seems pretty unethical to me.
Yeah, usually
you're lecturing people about so for example about food stamps and people being lazy and pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right, and you out here doing things like this.
But you're taking people's donations because they're under the assumption that these dollars are being used for said purpose, but you're actually pampering yourself with this money while cosplaying, and maybe cosplaying is a bit of a strong term, but one would say that it's quite fitting. Cosplaying as this ethical person, as far as your public image.
And the bootstraps is misleading. You know, he does the usual story. I started in my mom's basement with only 10,000, but then how is it the next year you had 420,000?
Same thing I asked. Yep.
How would that happen? If you and I start a nonprofit right now as two nobodies, we're not going to have that exponential growth in 1 year.
Right. And how did you get on Fox so fast? How did you get on not only Fox, but
everywhere?
How are you with Don Jr. and just like that, you're in close vicinity to at the time presidential candidate Donald Trump. That's crazy to me. And I keep telling my audience, and a lot of them get it. This is not normal. It's not that I'm trying to convince people that you can't be brilliant enough or you can't work hard. But we're talking about real life and how things usually goes. And if you know very little people to have pulled these things off, and then these people jump out of nowhere and all of a sudden they're doing it. If your antennas go up, it's probably a reason for it, because we almost want to give people, Brian, the benefit of the doubt and say, well, it was something about them, someone that they knew, and they just had the perfect recipe to be able to pull these things off that no one else was able to do. What matters to me most is, do I agree with what they're saying? I get it. But these things are suspicious to me when these people come out of nowhere. But this right here is what I care about. Let's go behind the scenes and let's dig into the granularities of who these people are. And the numbers don't lie, as they say. Or the numbers can lie, but you got to know how to read the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that blew me away about Charlie was he wasn't saying anything that would warrant this level of viralness. Like, anyone who disagrees, just go back and watch those early interviews objectively. I don't like Andrew Tate, but objectively, he says things where it makes sense to me that you'd share that with your friend.
Right.
That could go viral, right? Because at least it's like provocative. It's Fuentes would be another one. Those are provocative statements. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing, but do they provoke a thought in your head?
That's true.
Charlie Kirk was not provoking enough of a thought where it's like, man, Mom, you got to see this. John, you got to watch this. It was so basic. So
what would be your speculation after looking at the numbers and understanding that this person was being pushed on us? What do you think was going on? I think we both know the obvious answer, but I'm curious to hear what you say.
Yeah, so maybe a little aside from the obvious, I think about the term limited hangout. The first time I heard that always stuck with me. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term.
I've heard it, but I don't know the meaning of it.
Sure. So one of the main things the people in charge, whoever that is, they like to do is they create and install a character, and it's a limited hangout, meaning they're going to provide you limited truth as opposed to unlimited hangout, which is the real truth teller. So it's a brilliant strategy.
Kev Gills is the unlimited hangout.
Because if you have people that are providing limited truth, you're controlling that. You're controlling that narrative without the audience knowing. So you
You're
think
taking them just far enough,
just
and they're going to follow you. So if you don't go any further, they're not going to go any further. If you go left, they're not going to look right.
correct. And then you let your guard down. Now, Charlie didn't do this, but others did. For example, COVID. If you liked Ben Shapiro as an example, and you quote, trust him, then he tells you to get vaccinated, you might get vaccinated, right? That's a limited hangout. You know, I know people that got vaccinated because of Sean Hannity. They watch Hannity every night. He then, is pushing that's limited. So,
And a lot of people suffered for that. A lot of people got their YouTube accounts deleted. A lot of people lost their job. It was a lot of it. Just so here we are, I don't think it took 4 years, but years later we find out that a lot of those people turned out to be right.
yeah. Yeah. So to me, again, what would make the most sense is you install Charlie because he's a good speaker, not a great speaker, but definitely a very good speaker. And he can herd young people in the direction they want to herd them. So you have someone on the left, maybe that guy, is his name Hassan? He would be Hassan Piker. He's a huge streamer on the left.
Oh,
He'd
yeah,
be
that
the
guy.
equivalent of, right, herding young people in that direction. Hey, cut off your hair, cut off your private, do this, right? And then you just have Charlie would be the opposite. But you're still herding them within the establishment. Notice this, what jumps out to me. You asked me earlier if I vote. I've never voted or registered. Why didn't Charlie tell us not to vote? Instead, you're telling us, no, vote for Donald Trump. Why wouldn't it be fight the establishment, fight this uniparty of right? No, they keep us in a left versus right fight. And that to me shows you've been installed. Because you should be smarter than that.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you something. And
yeah, because what you don't know, this is what we're going into, Taj. You may enjoy this one because we're dealing with the alchemic principles, right? Of red and blue. And it's not just blood and crip and nothing like that. It's on some other shit dealing with the alchemic principles of how to do the shit. So you may want to stick around.
Some of my audience won't like this, but that's totally fine because I'm about truth at the end of the day.
Like the red and blue, whether it's boxing, gangs, political, it's just something about the red and blue. Even on the TV, it used to be like this thing they used to come up with, like a red and blue circle, and they used to blend together and make green or some shit in the middle. Univision type bullshit. We gonna see.
This is part of the reason I was so confused with Candace. Candace is now saying this thing about how now she understands that it's not left versus the right, it's the people. Okay, I'm with you. I'm following you. But it's very difficult for me to believe, Candace, and I'm not trying to be too critical, but I'm being honest, that you're just now coming to that. Because another way to know.
Right, because you came from every institution that is mentioned in this audit of doing bad things, quite possibly. And I'm so tired of the adult who's over relearning things over and over again. Like, oh, I didn't know. As you can remember, that was a few years ago. I was still green. Like, you're an adult. You motherfuckers been adults this whole damn time. This is all of a sudden awaken. Oh, guess what? Ben Shapiro's a slave owner because he had me working for him and wasn't paying me and didn't want to make me to talk about conspiracy theories. Like, what? PragerU is where they said honeypots come from. Candace. Press 1. Who did it, Candace? Israelis did it. Egyptians on the plane did it. Donald Trump did it. She mentioned everybody but her and Erica. Press 1. Everybody did it but me and Erica. Don't even mention me and Erica. Keep these motherfuckers thinking over there. Because if you find out that I'm the one that introduced Erica to him, you gonna know that it was me. I'm sending all the bitches. Candace got pictures with all the niggas who went to federal prison. She always in the middle of something. It's like two different Candaces. It was like the fucking trap troll, and then there's Candace Owens in her little TV series. But she's all around this criminal shit. She loves this shit. It turns her the fuck on. Hit the like button. Being manipulative. Being a little conniving little demon witch. Press 1. She love that shit. She probably got a demon witch lingerie outfit. Press one. She just even she probably wear black makeup and dark, come out like a tarantula. Press one. Dark heels and shit. Low cut hair. Press one. Like gothic. Like, ooh, this Candace Owens is tripping. Come out the Mar-a-Lago ready.
If these people are controlled or not. Charlie Kirk was supposed to be, what is it? Limited government, and the less the government is a part of your life, the better. Okay, cool. Don't trust the government. The moment the Trump administration came back into office, obviously the Epstein, the biggest elephant in the room. To be fair, he didn't exactly run on the Epstein files, but he was 100% asked about this multiple times on podcasts, and Donald Trump was very, very clear and advocate and very clear in advocating for going after those who were affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein. We all know the story. He gets into office. They do nothing. They roll out these phase one, like some sort of TV show. And then the pressure is building up on all those that advocated for Trump. And I'm saying, listen, it's clear to me I'm not on the left. I don't agree with those people. I'm a believer. And a lot of people who are not even believers but don't agree with the left, I'm saying there are things on the right I don't agree with as well as from a political perspective, because at the end of the day, I just want what's best for humanity. But here's the thing. Charlie Kirk, all of a sudden, the pressure was ramping up. What did he say? He became just like that. Charlie, I trust my friends in the government, Kirk. What did you say? We're telling you to say something about this man, President Trump, who literally said to the reporters, are you still talking about that Epstein guy? Yeah, bro. Like, children are the most vulnerable population and community in the world. We have to protect those people because who's going to protect them if we don't? You're saying, are we still talking about this? Yeah, we want to see justice. None of these quote unquote deep state individuals that you're talking about that you've been running on. You've never arrested Hillary. You've never made an attempt to arrest these people because you're all two rings of the same bird. And I'm sticking with it.
There's no way to argue that, because that's just what they show us,
Wow.
And so you mentioned
well
Candace,
said.
and I feel like she kind of falls into that.
It's like the young man feels duped, especially as a brother who probably voted for him. He feels duped. And people voted for him for these specific reasons, to do this specific shit, So it's been one big letdown after another, and it's no surprise to me because I didn't vote. Hit the like button and subscribe.
That same trap, because she also told us to vote for Trump.
Yep.
I just feel like someone, I know, because like you said, as a believer, you wouldn't idolize and let idolatry get in the way. And yet that just keeps happening. You and I end up on an island alone because people get very angry with us. Oh, what are you, a leftist? What do you like, Kamala? I'm like, what do you mean I like Kamala? Because I said I'm not voting for Trump. That means now all of a sudden I'm for kids being tranny, all because I didn't say, hey, go vote for Trump. It's not binary in my mind. It's not one or the other. And these people that are so enlightened.
Because it's psychology. They're operating both aisles of the coin to have you fighting against yourself, the blue and the red, the left and the right hemispheres of the mind. Are we there? I prepped y'all for this conversation. The left and the right hemispheres of the mind.
I don't know.
Yes.
It's hard for me to.
And it only seems, and I've said this quote multiple times, Brian, it seems to me that it's only on the internet where things have to be absolute. But in real life, we know that things are nuanced. If I tell you my favorite fruit is an apple, that does not mean you go on the internet and say, Didi said that he hates vegetables. That's not what I said. I said my favorite fruit is an apple. There's nuance. I like both, or I don't like both. It just depends on what we're talking about. Like I could not have said it any better than the way you put it. It's like, no, just do the things. Like if someone votes for you for something, then support them. Like I didn't vote this last time. I voted once in my life, and I quickly learned. I just saw the hypocrisy on both sides. I'm like, do you all care about the actual policies, or do you care about the politician more? Because I was under the impression the politician works for us. And the politician is supposed to be loyal to the people. We're not supposed to be loyal to them. So when you're hopping over here, after I've made 30 videos bashing this silly gender ideology and calling the things that the left has been doing demonic, the moment I'm consistent when it comes to Trump, how dare you hop in my comment section and say that I have, what do they call it? TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Excuse me? I've made 3 videos. So, and I don't want to say praising Trump, but giving Trump credit for doing something that he said he was going to do that I agree with. Now he's not. And some of these things I 100% don't like. I actually hate. I'm going to be consistent.
So I don't know if you know this, but Freemasons created sports.
The young man is like, I don't understand it. He comprehend this shit. Hold on. He understand words. Like, wait a minute, man.
I do know this. You're right.
Yep. They keep moving the goalposts, man.
James Naismith was a Freemason.
Basketball.
Right. I bring that up.
Walter Camp was.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the Walter Camp one. Right. So you got to ask yourself, why did Freemasons create sports? And I think it's to the point you just made. So now we view politics through our sports lens.
There you go. See, one thing I learned about that right there is the chronovisor. Not the television, the way we perceive, the hologram. You ever look through you ever brought the hologram glasses? What color are they? My point exactly, nigga.
Well, if you're not a Yankees fan,
it take red and blue to even see the hologram, nigga. Y'all ready? Nigga, we changing the world. They think they know, but they don't know. They talking about they live in an illusion, but never mind.
You're a Mets fan.
It's a simulation.
If you're not this fan, you are that fan, and you view Republican and Democrat no different than Cowboys and Eagles. A Super Bowl is election day, or as I call it,
a Super Bowl can lead you to war. Facts. If they need you to go to war against Saddam Hussein, nigga, they will bring Tom Brady out of retirement and he will win the Super Bowl. You niggas will be doing the eagle dance as the Patriots going to win the Super Bowl, nigga. And next thing you know, you in Iran. That's how this shit work, bruh.
Election day. It's the same thing.
Yes, that is so beautiful. If you praise LeBron for something, that means that you hate Jordan. If you praise LeBron for something, that means you hate Kobe. No, I found things about all of them that I can appreciate. Like, stop.
ESPN is really just CNN and Fox News, and I believe that's on purpose to keep us in the mindset of that lens. Right. So now we're always viewing Trump and Biden and come out through the sports lens, and that's how you get
logic and reasoning. Feelings and emotions. Talk to me, Kings.
Into this problem, and it's perfect for the people in charge because we're always in left versus right. How come we're not talking about the banks? How come we're not talking about how they're manipulating interest rates right now?
Boom.
How you can't afford a house and
nothing that they do we pay attention to.
Inflation. None of that.
Nothing the Talmudians do, the Babylonian Talmudists do, we even paying attention to. We like, how are we slaves and this one and that one? Every question on what we are in America is answered in the damn Talmud, nigga, because we going good and we ain't shit and we deserve this.
Comes up, and even Charlie would dip his toes in it, but he doesn't tell you why. Right. What's the root cause of why we're in this position? Because we have a Federal Reserve.
What's the root cause? I told y'all. Didn't I tell them, Taj?
We have central banking. We have debt that's, in the trillions. Like, no, he doesn't. They don't tell you that. And back to my point of limited hangout, that's why we have Alex Jones falls into limited hangout category. Tell you just enough so you don't riot, so you don't burn the banks down, so you don't realize who your enemy is. Who? The globalist? Who's that? That could be anybody. Why isn't it specific? These people also say,
yeah, why y'all never name nobody like Kev Gills? Why y'all don't get out there and squabble and start naming them? Stop making up shit. Why? Why is never specific? Why aren't you naming them? Because you scared, or either you work for them.
I've read 100 million books, and you still can't figure it out?
Right.
You read all these books? Come on, so.
Come on now. He's saying the same thing. You don't read all these books? whole house full of books in the back to convince people you read them all. And what? Why are you still talking?
If we get back on track here, I can finish up real quick. The
Okay.
next section is the turning point pack. We
Oh,
talked a little
yeah.
bit about that, but this section really puts it into a better context because you have the numbers right in front of you. You know how I said earlier, Turning Point Action, the 501c4 donates and funds the Turning Point pack. And in 2025, this was the furthest I could get info on. So 515 looks like another payment, 500,000. But to me, this is going to keep up, right? What they're doing. And then I just looked at a few transactions. So
I bet you this is coming in Bitcoin payments.
you can go to fec.gov and download all the transactions like I did, and I've linked that in.
Because they don't know where it's coming from. So I bet you it's exactly what we said. It's coming through Bitcoin. That's where Nick Fuentes was getting paid. Nick Fuentes got paid to go down to January 6th. And we're going to break that down. A matter of fact, I'm making arrest these people. Fuentes t-shirt, free the homie.
Here, I think where it says there's some interesting stuff here. If you go in there, you can look at any transaction you want. This one jumped out to me because it's circular again. Performance One Media is the holding company of Real America's Voice, home of the Charlie Kirk Show. What? Like,
Wait,
again,
what?
is it
What?
illegal? Okay, fine. It's not illegal, but why is everything so circular?
Hold on. In October 2024, Turning Point Pack gave essentially $300,000 to Performance One Media, the holding company for Real America's Voice, which is the home of. You're giving yourself money.
Again,
That just doesn't seem. I know we've spoken about unethical, but I can't say too much because of legal reasons on my end. But I've worked for organizations that have given money to people, and we've received, and I've seen this stuff up close and personal, where I'm like, why do we give them so much money for that small job? And why do we give that money there? And we're essentially owning the thing that we gave the money. That should be illegal. I don't know why that wouldn't be considered illegal to me. I don't know.
I mean, this is just what the data says, right? As to why, I mean, maybe he funds his own show. Maybe no one really does watch it, even though they make it appear it does. And this helps.
Told you. We around here watching these people like thousands and millions of people are watching them. Ain't no way. Press one. But you see why I started talking to my audience? You see why I got used to y'all? You see why I got used to saying y'all names and y'all seat numbers and pressing one? Because I refuse to have my chat flowing with thousands of people paid for by groups who trying to push an agenda. That shit happened when I did the Nipsey Hussle thing. It was 8,000 people in my chat. That shit made me go blind. I couldn't even see. I got nausea. I said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Fuck that clout shit. That shit is retarded. You see why AK be yelling at his chat room and cussing at them? Fuck you, nigga, from all over. They love that shit. They love it. They love it. I make sure it's here. I know my chat room. I know y'all. Yeah. I know y'all. So at least I know I'm not invaded by bots. And we all know we come here to study and focus and shit like that. Because, them bigger channels, they go through it. And people start believing their own hype. Some people don't even know they got bought some views and they start believing the shit. You start living in panic when it's all disappearing. Like, what's going on? Yeah, they got them. Press one.
Cover the cost. I have no idea. All we can do is speculate because no one tells us anything.
Right.
Like, there is no real audit. If I was an auditor, I would ask this question. Okay, you did this. Why? But we're not allowed to, I doubt you're going to get any of these guys on your show. So we're never going to get that answer. But this appears like, to me at least, he's funding his show, right? I don't know. What else would be
right?
I really don't know how else to explain that. Maybe this is a kickback to Bannon. This is all speculation. I hate even speculating because I truly have no idea. But this was from the PAC. So this is from the FEC. This is their own filing. And that's really all we know. what was Right for America? Oh, Isaac Perlmutter. Isaac Perlmutter is, I mean, a guy from the IDF, which is, I would argue, pretty sketchy. And he's given 1.275 million to Turning Point. So now this is them receiving money I'm looking at, as opposed to them giving out money.
Right.
And so you just have to ask yourself, why would the IDF be giving Turning Point 1.27 million?
Wow. Not the IDF. That's when Candace Owens was there. Why is IDF? So we got to get these people out of here. Israeli, and that's why they pushing anti-black stuff. Press one. It's all Israelis. IDF, a whole military faction. Don't funded this. IDF, Jeffrey Epstein, they started all this. I told you guys, bruh. We gotta take a stand. Israeli military. Yeah. And they trying, that's why they Judeo-Christian. Because they're like Jew Christians. Christians of America who don't know nothing. I don't believe this. So they really, oh my goodness. And then not Parlor. What's that company where the head of IDF? Damn.
I don't know the answer, but these are the questions I ask myself as to why.
I don't know the answer either, but I can.
Prager University. So Candace Owens worked for IDF. Candace Owens, you've been working for the IDF this whole time.
Tell you, even though this isn't news, as far as, I mean, I don't think anybody would be surprised to hear that Turning Point USA was receiving funding from anything Israeli. But what I will say is it further buys into the explanation as to why it took Charlie Kirk so long to even say anything critical of what was happening in the Middle East, even though some of the things was just common sense. You know,
I would argue it took too long for someone that's
as informed and as educated and as bold, as controversial as they tried to sell him to be. This is why Nick Fuentes, regardless of all the things we may disagree with him, this one thing made him the kryptonite. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk is terrified of that kid. Terrified of him. And we can have
Explore Talent is run by Israeli Mr. Amit Shafir. Now, ain't that something? See? So the Israeli IDF could be doing bad things right in front of us. Right in front of us. I told y'all I recognized them eyes from anywhere, didn't I? Israelis. IDF spies using honeypots. You see that? KevRow. And they could be reptilians. She probably scared shitless. They probably could be reptilians. But we got them using women and like honeypots to, do exactly what they did. Shit.
A conversation up time about Nick Fuentes and who he may truly be and whatever. But what I know is like the things that Nick Fuentes has been saying, Charlie Kirk didn't want to touch it. That's the reason he banned the kid from even attending Turning Point USA events. Simply attended. He was on a no attend list. As soon as he showed up, they blocked this guy. And I said, something else is going on here, because I'm like, you don't notice anything? And then when Candace Owens got fired from Daily Wire, that sort of almost was like a domino effect. You're looking at people like Officer Tatum. It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, no one's saying, first of all, we're not even going to even give you that silly argument of, because he went to, the Republican Jewish Coalition and said that you fall into one or two categories. either you're ignorant or you just hate Jews. And I'm like, huh? No, or maybe we just don't like seeing innocent individuals, let alone babies, getting blown to oblivion. Could that be an option, Officer Tatum? And then you look at these numbers and it's like, oh, of course you're affiliated with TPUSA. Of course you interview Bibi Netanyahu and you're saying things like, I only got spit on once. Do you hear yourself? Why would the kid spit on you to begin with?
Yeah. And another one who gets massive views. I said earlier, I think the question was like, what got you onto Charlie? Was it was I against Republican or something like that? And it's no. When someone is getting these massive views, which Officer Tatum as well gets,
consistently,
that's how he got on my radar.
And he's not saying anything amazing. Sure, you can say back in, what was it, 2015, 2016, when it was very rare to be a so-called black conservative. Fine.
Now I'm realizing this is some. Let's see if we can speed this up. Let's see if we can speed this up just a tad. See what else we got on here.
Have to do with something like this. She's running 2 military contract companies, and now she's the director of this app that really appears it's just to register, your data on there. And then we have more insider right here in 2024. Superfeed received it, and I've hyperlinked it so anyone can see the receipt. 120,000 from Turning Point Pack. And remember, Bauer, as you see above, eventually I'm going to get it, is the chief operating officer. He's been on Twitter. Yeah.
Hold on. The company was formed, or the director is Erica Kirk's mother.
And other directors. I only highlighted Erica Kirk because she's notable. There's other directors that I just didn't know who they were.
But Tyler Boyer is he was the director as well?
Yeah, and COO.
And then became the CEO.
And he has meltdowns on Twitter when you mention this to him. He says, all I do is give my free time. I don't take any money. All I did was help, another virtue signaling kind of response. And I mean, he may be technically telling the truth. Maybe he didn't withdraw money from this company. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's still another sort of insider, dirty kind of thing. Like, oh, how convenient. Mm-hmm. He creates an app. The company funds the app. Why doesn't he pay for it out of his pocket? If you and I start a business together, we're paying for it, right? But instead, not these guys. They always make sure Turning Point funds every endeavor they have. So he's denying it. And like I said, he may be telling the truth from a technical perspective, but it's a bad look. And I think the bigger look is, why was Erica's mother the director? What background does she have in an app like this? She doesn't. She's a military contractor. And so I mentioned this earlier, this next passage where I said Superfeed lost its legal authority to do business in Arizona. And then when I look at the letterhead from it, it's Justin Olson. Remember Justin Olson, the commissioner?
Yeah.
So
the guy who worked, he was the commission and something like that. Yeah.
So of course can't prove it, but one would think maybe that's why that didn't get enforced, right? Because Justin Olson, is he going to enforce that on his own company?
Right.
I wouldn't think so. So I've noted that here. I suspect that's the reason. And then, I'm talking down here, same thing about what I think is going on here. And I want to be clear. It's what I think. Although after I wrote this did kind of come out because Andrew Colvett slipped and mentioned, was it geofencing or data
at the memorial, 270,000.
There you go. So I actually should update this because now I feel like I'm not speculating. He is essentially saying they do that. He didn't say Superfeed, but he said, they do that. So I think it's no longer a speculating. It's kind of like, well, if we connect these 2 dots, right? Also, read the feedback on the app. People said it didn't even work. So it feels like another front. The app is just a front for moving this money and harvesting and collecting young people's data is what I suspect. Because if the app didn't work, then what's the point of the app? And where's the accountability? If I told you I'm a programmer. If I design something that doesn't work, I'm accountable.
Right.
Ryan, this thing doesn't work, right? You made this application, the software. Hey, come fix it. We're Carrie Lake is caught up in this. I think she got some massive consulting contract to be with Superfeed. So it's all the usual suspects that you see in Arizona. And I'm sure Brian would know the names better than myself because he's, the guy you had on because he's an Arizona guy. But that's how this appears. We should really, if we have time, hit on Erica's parents because this is wild stuff.
Let's do it.
Damn. That's why they running on this damn internet acting like a bunch of chickens with no heads. I'm like, hey, did you see Ben Shapiro? Hey, we mad at Donald Trump? Hey, did you see that what happened? A new conspiracy. Hey, look over here. We hate them over there. Look over there. We hate them over here. Like, Come on, y'all, grow up. And they're not going to grow up. Why? Because they're Turning Point USA. This is what they're supposed to do. Come in, cause conspiracy theories, don't pay attention to nothing that's going on. Why? Because more than likely, they're criminals.
And
Candace Owens trying to bring up Britney Spears now. Told you. She out of conspiracies. She don't led all them people to Britney Spears. Ain't that a... Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Don't look at them. Look. You done got them all the way to Britney. Look, all that shit. All the way to... I'm not that innocent. Britney lost her brain. This must be conspiracy. Oh, handlers. The handlers got her. Press 1, the handlers. Everybody's a handler but Candace. Everybody's a handler but Candace. Press. She probably watching the show right now. God damn it. She can't stay on the show a whole 2 hours now. The show probably 30 minutes. Show probably 45 minutes to an hour. And it's like, I'm out of here. I'm like, damn. What the fuck? I love it. See, that's why I love YouTube and having perseverance, because you can just sit here and watch it all play out. You can sit over here and watch it all play out like a movie.
Military connections. If you don't, you may think this is nothing. But someone like me who does research, there's a certain pattern you see. And, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I believe that's what's happened here with Erica. So Erica admits to this. I found a clip on Twitter. She says outright her mother moved from Ohio to Phoenix because of this Homeland Security job. And then sure enough, I found the proof. So her companies that her mother and father run are getting huge government contracts, and they're being subcontracted by the top military companies. That's what Raytheon is. Raytheon is like the #1 weapons manufacturer. They're involved in Israeli projects. They're involved in everything you see in the world is pretty much a Raytheon weapon when it comes to war. So that's a sign that for someone to get that much money, they're connected in that system, of military intelligence, because they don't just give that away to anyone. If you and I have a company like this, we're not getting that money, So I believe she's got some sort of deep connections. And even on their website, just some strange things, this post 9/11 Department of Defense further tested our SAP system to support U.S. warfighters. She got an award for that. So they're not nobodies. She's getting this Joint Service Achievement Medal, which is a major Department of Defense award. And so, it's not guilt by association, but I think it's like you can speculate by association. You know what I mean? Like you have to at least go, something's a bit off here. Like these guys are just deeply embedded in this world. She's got 9 patents around all this stuff. A state-sponsored book that I found called Blackout Wars, and I've linked it there if anyone wants to read the book. It's really about like dystopian sort of things that can happen in the world. And somehow she's offering the answers with a whole team of other folks that are like caught up in that line of work, wargaming stuff out, just like world ending type stuff. If this nuclear thing happens, here's this. And so just caught my attention.
Wait. Repeat what you just said. Say it again.
So I didn't read, to be fair, I didn't read the whole book, but just I went through enough of it. It's a lot of like what I would call wargaming things out. So if a nuclear goes off and half the world gets crushed, here's what we recommend. Like it's a lot of that type of stuff. Like this dystopian.
Brian, did you see? And I don't even know if you have watched enough of my content, but I dropped a video 2 or 3 days ago. It's called Erica Kirk's Father Suspicious Video from 10 years ago.
I haven't seen that yet, but I've seen the video, but I haven't seen your video. I've only seen the video that I think you're referring to. Is it that 2-minute YouTube video?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But forgive me, I haven't
of
seen
this
it.
apocalyptic, weird thingamajig. Anyways, I found a lot of connections. Like when you get a chance, the video's like 15 minutes long. I connected it to Erica Kirk's music video and some other things and her family's history. Anyways, it reminds me of what you're talking about with this book, because that video is sort of talking about and leaning to this idea of being prepared for if a bomb was to strike. And I'm like, why would they put a video like this together? and maybe this would provide more information as to why they do
It's just strange. And I know,
It's
like,
strange.
yeah, you mentioned good points earlier about devil's advocate. You should play that, so like, we're not saying they should be in prison or they're doing anything, but and it's just strange that all these people that feel installed
That's crazy.
always have these backgrounds. That's why I started off by saying, if you've never done research, this may seem like nothing, but if you have, this is everything.
Yep.
I'd recommend your audience, if they're interested, to check out a book called something at Laurel Canyon. The first name will come to me. Essentially, a guy named David, his name will come to me, did a whole deep dive on all the musicians from the 60s and 70s. All their parents had military backgrounds like this. They were all
Yeah.
installed in a tiny area in Laurel Canyon out in Hollywood Hills in LA. And he made the point of, like, that's what you should be looking at when you're a bit skeptical of someone. Start with America. But I'd just be curious, like, in your own words, what do your companies do? How do you add value? Like, what, we don't get that much from her. I would have also liked to know, why were you involved in Superfeed, the app? What was your contributions to that? Did you?
The forensic match to the long sought January 6th.
Okay, I think that's it. But look, I want my class to think about that. As we begin these discussions, I want my class to really focus and say, damn, could all of this media hype be to distract me? Not them. They're trying to distract you. That's why I say take it personal. Are you trying to take something and distract me for something that's real, tangible? See, this stuff is real. You can go to IRS and see it for yourself. You can go to this young man page at DD Got a Podcast and check out the whole podcast, rewind it, listen to everything, because we kind of skip through it. This person has to say, and probably watch more videos of his. Who knows? Just come to class with information and ready to speak, because this is not just people. Charlie died and conspiracies. No. This is like money laundering, sex, drugs, and alcohol. This is sweet. KevRow University, Channel 54, Coffee and Kush TV. Shout out to the moderators, of course. Thank you for posting my links. If you would like to become a sponsor to this program, hit them links. Hit that Cash App, hit the Patreon, get locked in, and become a student right here at KevRow University. And of course, as always, family, I holla.